Hello everyone and welcome back to The Other Castle.
The Other Castle, I'm Andrea.
And my name is Tom.
And here on The Other Castle, we do the plot, lore, and more behind all of your favorite video games.
And if this is your first time checking us out, you can go to our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Over there we have links to all sorts of things like our Instagram, our Discord, our item shop, as well as our Patreon.
Our Patreon starts at $2 a month. The first 7 days are free, and we also have a $5 tier. On the $2 tier, you get a monthly bonus episode, things that are like DLCs or side quests, kind of fun shit like that. At the $5 and up tier, you get even more. You get that show and The Other Castle Plays Around. And this month's, that one fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie.
It fucked you up? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Goombas, over here on the main show, we are covering Uncharted 3.
Another one.
Yes. A story about an ordinary man put into an extraordinary circumstance.
Tom, you have to let it go.
Never.
That's right, though. We are back, baby. Almost immediately after the 2009 release of Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, Naughty Dog broke in half.
Oh.
Half the team took a shot at former Naughty Dog intern Neil Druckmann's original zombie epic, The Last of Us, and the other half followed creative director Amy Hennig to work on Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
Oh, okay.
There were no losers in this split.
No.
Amy Hennig is the creative director and writer of the Uncharted games up to this point, so she walked in with a game plan, knowing exactly what she wanted to hit with this title. She had a massive hit on her hands with the first 2 games, and she personally sold thousands of PS3s with Uncharted 1 and 2.
Fair.
Going into Uncharted 3, Amy Hennig had one thing on her mind. Sand.
Oh.
She told Entertainment Weekly that she wanted to build out gameplay scenarios in a desert, but the challenge of rendering sand was daunting. She pitched it to her team, and they were like, yeah, that's 100% really, really hard, and I can't wait to do it. And she was like, this is the best team in the entire business.
I love that when a team sees a challenge, they want to go after it.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
I love that.
The last 2 Uncharted games set an extremely high precedent for being interactive cinematic experiences, and the third one really leaned on that for their marketing. A major selling point was how they utilized 2 different mocap studios, one massive soundstage for epic set pieces, and a smaller one for detailed filming for their now iconic performers. The soundstage was the same one that they used to film the Polar Express, and they used the same cameras, same setup, and everything.
Okay, I mean, that was all motion capture, so I get it.
Yeah, the Polar Express was actually the first full-length movie filmed in mocap.
Oh, wow, that's really incredible.
Now, speaking of marketing, I've been waiting years to talk about how bonkers this shit is.
Is this the famous one?
Oh, yeah, for Uncharted 3, Naughty Dog partnered with fast food sandwich chain Subway. Subway is one of the largest fast food restaurants in the world and is known for their bread that smells like cake and their famous $5 footlongs, which now cost anywhere from $8 to $15.
Oh, God, inflation's a son of a bitch.
Are you a Subway girly?
I was in college because there was one directly across the street from my apartment.
So, out of convenience, you were a Subway girly.
Out of convenience, yeah. And it was 24 hours. Oh, that was dangerous.
In September of 1999, over 30 Subway customers contracted hepatitis A after an outbreak at 2 different Subway locations in Seattle, Washington.
Okay, it wasn't that dangerous. God damn. I just meant I would get a tuna fish sandwich at 3 o'clock in the morning. Holy shit, not Hep A.
They definitely got Hep A from a tuna salad sandwich, though.
Oh, God.
Out of everything there, it's 100% the tuna, right?
Absolutely it is. I don't think it's real fish.
Now, obviously, this poses some very bad PR for Subway. 30 people with hepatitis does a lot of damage to a brand. So, Subway began looking for heroes to partner with to rebuild their brand identity. A few months later, in January of 2000, Subway launched a campaign with a man named Jared Fogle.
Oh, dear God.
His Subway ads ran from 2000 to 2015 and ceased after he was arrested for probably one of the most horrific things you can do as a human with free will.
Oh, he is a true monster.
So, that same marketing team that Subway trusted with Jared also ran a series of commercials with Uncharted.
Jared has been a villain in a game on this show before.
That's right.
In the South Park, the second one, the Fractured But Whole.
Where does that put Nathan Drake in the South Park universe then? So for Uncharted 3, we get a visual of Nathan Drake holding a Subway soda cup, jumping into an airplane, and he says, "Hey, I'm Nathan Drake."
Oh my God.
If you're the adventurous type, like me, you love Subway.
Honestly, better than Jared Fogle.
And it's footage from Uncharted 3, but the VO of Nathan Drake telling you that you could win cool Uncharted codes or gear from Subway sodas. This includes the plane cargo sequence, which is probably one of the most iconic shots of the entire franchise.
Oh, that's where this one comes from?
Yeah, they threw it in the Subway commercial. The commercial ends with Nathan Drake holding a Subway sandwich and a Subway soda cup saying Subway's iconic tagline,
Eat fresh.
Subway, where winners eat.
What? Wait.
I'm sorry, Tom. Are you not good at knowing taglines?
Oh my god. No. Eat fresh. That's Subway.
No, they made Nathan Drake say, where winners eat. And arguably, what has Nathan Drake won?
Was that like leftover from Happy Gilmore? What the fuck?
I mean, maybe. Again, the Subway marketing team baffles me.
Yeah, insanity.
They made future BAFTA award-winning actor Nolan North in character as Nathan Drake say, Subway, where winners eat. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Oh, like he's the first BAFTA award winner to say a catchphrase.
For, like, pedo sandwiches, yeah. Come on. Now, as a side note on taglines, the tagline for Uncharted 3 is, Uncover the truth.
I mean, we did, and it was horrific, so.
You know these now, right? All the taglines to games.
Will you stop?
Nope. Nolan North did say that this game was the most fun Uncharted to make. The team knew that they had back-to-back hits with Uncharted 1 and 2, and they knew that Uncharted 4 would be coming right after this, so it was just good vibes everywhere. Everyone knew they were working for a while. Some of the performers were actually working double duty and filming scenes for Uncharted Golden Abyss, the PS Vita game that was going on during production for Uncharted 3.
Oh, I didn't even know about this one.
Yeah, Golden Abyss is a title from Ben Studios.
Oh, wow, really?
Our friends who did Days Gone.
Yeah.
Now, Nolan North and Richard McGonigal would do Nate and Sully for one studio one day and then another the next. Like, they just stayed in character the whole time.
Oh my god. At least in the one, it's just voiceover work purely.
Yeah. Richard McGonigal said that this one was his favorite because he got to work more.
He's like, I got a lot more to do.
Yeah, this one does have a lot of Sully. It's great. Going into Uncharted 3, there was a lot of fan sentiment from Uncharted 2 that the people wanted more Sully. They love Sully. He's gruff, he's selfish, he's covered in cigars, he's great. So to remedy this, Naughty Dog made Uncharted 3 very Sully-centric. At Gamescom 2011, Naughty Dog promised that the game would be under 50 gigabytes and would be a single disc game.
Oh, that's a relief.
About 2 months before the game shipped, Naughty Dog's co-president tweeted a picture of what appeared to be over 24 terabytes of Uncharted 3 assets.
Oh my lord, that's a lot.
He captioned it, "We'd better finish this game soon." The game was announced in 2010 and then came out in November of 2011, just over 2 years after the release of Uncharted 2. In contrast, there is a 7-year gap between The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2. They don't make them like they used to anymore.
They really don't. My lord.
Uncharted 3 was PlayStation's first Steel Edition case treatment for the physical edition of the game.
Oh, wow.
The game got absolutely rave reviews, with mostly 9s across the board, like out of 10, and racked up a few Game of the Year awards. With all this, I do want to say, this still isn't largely people's favorite Uncharted title.
Wow, really?
This usually ends up in the bottom half of the rankings for the franchise.
Oh my god.
And that's not necessarily because this is a bad game.
Okay.
The awards speak for themselves, and this is one of the best games of the year in 2011. The same year as Skyrim, Portal 2, Batman Arkham City, LA Noire, Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword, and Dead Space. Like, this was a really important time.
Oh, you are naming some really good fucking games there.
Yeah. The game sold 3.8 million copies on launch day.
Nice.
It is the third best-selling game on PS3, just after GTA 5 and Gran Turismo 5, with 9 million copies moved.
Always forget that GTA 5 came out on PS3.
Generations ago.
Right?
Uncharted as a franchise has moved over 40 million copies and is among the best-selling game franchises of all time. As soon as Uncharted 3 launched, pre-production on Uncharted 4, A Thief's End began. But that's another side, another story.
That's a different franchise.
I played these in the completely wrong order, where I played Uncharted 4 first, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3. So this is the one I've played the most recently. And it's great fun. I think the character work on this is really memorable, and it's always great to see people at the top of their game doing what they do best. But enough about me. Let's do this Degrassi style, because it's time for Drake to get shot at. This is Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception. The game opens with a sweeping shot of maps, tools, passports, photos, books, and artifacts. Nathan Drake's voice narrates, "All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did." T.E. Lawrence, aka Lawrence of Arabia.
I was gonna say, he better be reading, because that is not coming off the dome from him.
He's had so many concussions that he's just walked off. He is not. It's amazing he remembers anything.
Yeah.
The screen pulls out to show that it's nighttime in London. Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan are in full suits walking down the street. Sully tosses his cigar into the gutter, and they enter a bar. This is the same bar set that was used in The Last of Us in the Pittsburgh section.
Oh, wow. Okay, I do remember you mentioning that way back in the day.
I know. What did I say I was? I'm the leading Egyptologist for The Last of Us?
Yeah.
I'm giving myself titles, so of course. We're in a proper English pub with lots of ales on draft, guys with flat caps on, darts, billiards, whole nine. Our boys enter, and the bartender nods them to the back. A massive bouncer follows Nate and Sully as they head upstairs to the office. In the office, there's a table, there's a billiards table, and a few blokes drinking and shooting the shit. One gets up and searches Nate and Sully at the doorway. He pats Nate down, and Nate asks if he's enjoying himself. Sully is immediately annoyed. He is here for a business deal and does not want to deal with this shit. A dork with thick hair and a pinstripe suit meets Nate and Sully at the billiards table. This is Talbot, who's played by Robin Atkin Downes. Now, Talbot is a new character, but this is not a new performer. Robin Atkins Downes has played Navarro in Uncharted 1, and he did the mocap for Tenzin in Uncharted 2.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's not a stranger to the series.
No, it's just cool that he keeps coming back as different characters, like in Deadwood.
Yeah.
The one fucking guy.
Yeah.
He's also in the animated How to Train Your Dragon movies, and you're a big Buffy guy. So I'm going to see if you got this. He was a day player on a Buffy episode.
Okay.
He's in Reptile Boy.
Okay.
And he's Machida.
I don't
Machida.
remember. Nah, got nothing.
We were so close until the final layer. Wow. Talbot is overly professional, calling the boys Mr. Drake and Mr. Sullivan. Talbot calls out for Cutter, who's one of his goons, to bring him the money. Talbot opens and spins a briefcase to show it's full of cash. Nate and Sully nod, and Nate pulls his necklace off and holds it out to Talbot. At the end of a leather strap is the old silver ring that says Sic Parvis Magna.
Oh, I know that one.
Latin for greatness from small beginnings, which shows up in The Last of Us 2 in the bank scene in Seattle.
Yeah.
Ah!
It's just so much Naughty Dog sucking its own tail.
I need an outlet for this. There's no reason all this information is just rattling around my brain where I used to be able to parallel park. This is insane.
I mean, I'm sure they'll never do anything like this again.
Talbot takes the ring, saying he needs to authenticate it to confirm it's truly the personal ring of the famed English explorer, Sir Francis Drake. Talbot looks at it through a jeweler's magnifying tool, confirming, yep, that's silver, 16th century, Elizabethan design, and confirms this appears to be genuine.
Ooh.
Nate is already wrist-deep counting the cash. Sully says, yeah, of course it's genuine. Talbot asks how they found it, and Sully asks if that matters. Talbot nods because it doesn't, and says, all right, my client will be very pleased. Nate speaks up and tells Sully that the cash is fake. He hands a stack to Sully, who inspects it and says, oh, this is as phony as a $3 bill. What the hell are you trying to pull here? Nate says, this is bullshit, and slams the briefcase shut and slides it back to Talbot. He puts his hands on the ring as Talbot reaches for it. Nate grabs it and says, look, the deal's off, pal. Sully stands near Nate and points his finger like an angry dad at Talbot, saying, you can tell your client you blew it. Which I feel like is 100% something my dad said at like a car fucking sale, being like, I was gonna pay for this Honda Civic, but you ruined it.
You just lost yourself a customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Storming off and shit.
But he's just doing crime.
But like, I'm expecting something a little bit more like blue from him, honestly, from Sully, considering like fake is a $3 bill. That's a good one, but like, I don't know. I just expect something a little bit more crass.
He is a witty sailor. He did a lot of time in the Navy. You think they're a little quicker.
Yeah.
Witted. Talbot stops them and says, you're not in a position to negotiate. Give me the ring, take the case, and walk out of here like gentlemen. while you still can. Nate calls Talbot a thief, and Talbot says, okay, well, that's just being ironic. Nate and Sully look at each other, take a deep breath, and they start fighting.
Hell yeah.
Nate picks up a pool cue and breaks it across someone's shoulder.
Oh my god.
He puts his necklace back on, and Talbot closes the briefcase and walks away. Nate and Sully have truly one of the best bar fights in gaming. This is on the same ranking for me as the Telltale Batman Bruce Wayne fight.
I was genuinely going to ask that question.
It's right there.
Wow.
A bunch of British blokes throw blows until Nate gets thrown through the office window and into the pub below.
Ooh.
He crashes through a table, and the guys sitting around the table don't even question this. They just start blasting. The fight rages on, and at the end, Sully asks Nate if he's hurt. And he says, "Ugh, just my pride." And they leave the bar. They step out into an alley and are met with another round of mean boys. These blokes beat up Nate and Sully further, knocking them into the trash bags in the alley.
How do they all know to fight these guys?
They're like, you guys are clearly American.
Yeah.
There is nothing more American than Nate and Sully.
Sully's pretty much always wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, right?
And has a cigar in
Yeah.
his mouth. They are in suits here, but like that's just
Okay.
their whole deal.
Their whole vibe is super American.
They're giving bald eagle.
Okay.
A black sedan pulls down the alley. Nate goes to stand, but one of the mean boys tells him to stay down. Talbot steps out of the car, and so does a woman holding an umbrella. She's closer to Sully's age, and she is beautiful. She's very Helen Mirren in Fast and Furious.
Oh, okay.
She and Sully are on a first-name basis. She calls him Victor, and he calls her Kate.
Ooh.
This is Kate Marlowe, a very fancy criminal. She looks down at Sully, resting on garbage, and says, still wallowing in the gutter with your protege, I see. Not very dignified for a man of your age. And Nate says, I should have known you were behind this. Which was very 007 of him to yell at someone. Kate closes her umbrella, and Nate says, careful now, we wouldn't want you to melt. She laughs and calls him a cocky little shit. She pulls a knife out of the handle of her umbrella. She calls Nate fearless, then wonders, I wonder what you're really afraid of. She puts the knife to Nate's face, right in the middle of his forehead. She says, no bullets, no blood, no broken bones. No, you get off on all this stuff, cheating death. She brings the knife down his neck and then lower to his necklace, pulling up the Sir Francis Drake ring against her own knife.
Oh.
She keeps her eyes on the ring but says to Sully, Mr. Sullivan, I won't harm your precious boy. I merely want what's mine. She yanks her knife back and cuts the necklace, pulling the ring to herself. She holds it tight in her hand. Nate stands and says no, but is shot by one of the blokes.
Whoa, she just said, like, I'm not gonna hurt him.
She didn't pull the trigger.
I know, but still.
Nate's white shirt blossoms with blood as his body falls back on Sully. Kate scolds Cutter, the bloke that shot Nate. As Sully goes to hold Nate, he says, no. And then Cutter shoots Sully too, giving the best friends matching wounds.
Oh.
Marlowe calls Cutter a fool, and he raises his arm and says, oh, you're bloody welcome, your majesty. Come on, they were a pair of assholes. Talbot is unbothered and simply tells Marlowe that they need to go. She understands and walks back to the car. The other blokes in the alley return to the pub, leaving Cutter in the alley with the bodies of Nate and Sully. Cutter turns to look at Nate and Sully, bleeding out in the alley, unconscious. The game moves back, 20 years in time, to Cartagena, Colombia.
Oh.
A museum is promoting an exhibit on Sir Francis Drake. A small, scrappy boy in a red and white baseball shirt looks around nervously before entering the museum. He says, here we go. He looks at some artifacts on display, but moves on with a mission in mind. He goes to a case and sees Sir Francis Drake's ring behind glass and looks at it with yearning. He fiddles with the case and sees it's locked. There's no sneaky way of getting this out. Out loud, he says, ah, crap. Now, I was also a 15-year-old thief once.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say, this is not advocating for the lifestyle, but I will say, if you happen to find yourself in this situation, do not say out loud when you're disappointed something is difficult to steal. That's called showing your hand, and you don't want to do that.
You immediately out yourself.
He sees a gold puzzle device next to the ring. It's marked with old writing and has gears. It appears to be missing a key and looks stuck in a position that's not a solution. Nate gets out his notebook and begins taking vigorous notes on the puzzle device. A man with dark hair and a mustache enters the exhibit, reeking of cigars. While Nate doesn't recognize him yet, we do. It's Sully!
Oh, yay.
We get sexy young Sully.
So we're going to see their origin story?
Yeah. Nate moves to another display but keeps his eyes on his future father figure. Sully begins inspecting the same case Nate was at, then turns his back to it. He puts his hands behind his back and places his hands over the lock, sliding a moldable form between his fingers into the lock and creating a copy of the necessary key for the case.
Oh, wow. All in one swift motion.
Now, in contrast, this is a masterclass in how to steal things. Nate is delighted, but also a little offended at the same time. He watches as Sully very casually strolls away from the case he now has the power to unlock. Nate goes to follow him, but is caught by museum security. They kick Nate out of the museum, physically throwing him on the street.
Oh.
Baby Nate calls the security guard a pendejo, which is just so cute to see every time.
Yeah, but still, it's just like he gets the full, like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air treatment, Jazz getting thrown out.
Outside, Nate sees Sully and follows him down the streets. The chase brings Nate to climbing the outside of a building and listening in through a cracked window. Sully is at a locksmith getting a real key made. The locksmith gives Sully a key based on that moldable thing he got at the museum. Sully inspects it, then he puts it in his wallet. And Nate says, well, I have to go get that wallet now. While this is happening also, Nate is using his fingertips to hold his entire body weight against a bit of scaffolding. It's insane.
Oh, this is where he learned how to climb?
It's...
Or he's just always known how to do it?
He's already good at it, which makes me feel crazy. He chases Sully from above, jumping over rooftops. He sees Sully meet a woman, a young Kate Marlowe, and they walk through a town square. Eventually, they stop by a bar, and Nate slips by and lifts Sully's wallet. Nate thinks he's sneaky and walks casually, then turns a corner and starts running. He looks back to make sure he's not followed when Sully steps out and catches him. Sully grabs Nate's arm and tells him not to run. He says, "You're a long way from home, son." Nate glares at him and says, "Don't call me that." Sully says, "Your parents must be worried about you." And Nate says, "Not likely." Sully takes that in and says, "Okay, sore subject." He pauses to change the subject and says, "That was a nice lift back there. You're pretty good." Nate knows better than to accept a compliment and says, "I don't know what you're talking about, old man." And Sully says, "Hey, don't call me that." They're already establishing boundaries immediately, and I think this is why they have such a healthy relationship. Always the charmer, Sully pivots from compliments to criticism and says, "Your technique is really sloppy, though. You're telegraphing all your moves," which is exactly what I said, Sully. You shouldn't out loud say, "Oh, this is hard to steal." Nate opens his eyes wide and says, "Whoa, you're crazy," which is telegraphing a very large move, Nate. Good job. Now, Sully is mad about that one and says, "Oh yeah, you've been tailing me all over town. You probably figured me for an easy mark, but you picked the wrong guy, pal. Now, my wallet?" Nate looks at him angry, committing to the world where he didn't just steal his wallet. So Sully offers him an alternative and says, "Or we could call the police." Nate is smug. He says, "Go ahead. Of course. But they may wonder why a middle-aged tourist is following young boys down alleyways."
Oh my god, to throw that in there just immediately.
He's so good. Nate crosses his arms. He's arrogant as fuck in this. Sully laughs and says, "Oh, you are really one crafty beggar, aren't you?" Nate says simply, "I know how to take care of myself. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you don't like the cops any more than I do." Sully says, "All right, good point. The wallet." Nate shrugs and throws his wallet back to him. Nate says, "Look, I had to try." And then he skips down the alleyway, and Sully puts his wallet back in his pocket. A few hours later, the sun is starting to go down, and Nate's across the street from the museum. He's on a rooftop watching for activity. He holds the key he lifted from Sully's wallet and says, "I'm telegraphing all my moves."
Well done.
Once the museum is officially closed, Nate stands and heads to do some parkour to get in the museum. There's only one open window on a high floor, so he starts hopping. Nate parkours into the open window and goes straight for the case with the ring. Using Sully's bootleg key, Nate unlocks the case and goes straight for the ring, turning it over in his hands. He then looks at the puzzle artifact and grabs that too. He takes a step back and puts the ring in the puzzle artifact.
Mm.
The ring locks into place and the puzzle whirs to life. Nate says, "Whoa." He watches the gears click into place. He looks up when he hears Sully say, "Damn it, kid." Sully, Marlowe, and 2 suited guards enter the museum hall. Marlowe says, "Oh, look who it is! That filthy little stray that made off with your wallet."
Oop.
Nate turns to run when another 2 suited gooners enter. Sully says, "Come on, kid. You don't have a chance. Hand it over." Marlowe snatches the puzzle piece out of Nate's hands. She demands the ring, and Nate shows her an empty palm, saying, "What ring?" Marlowe slaps the shit out of him.
Ooh.
Nate is 15 years old. He's shorter than her. He's skinny. He's like pretty small for 15 for someone that goes from 5'11 to 6'1 between Uncharted 1 and 2. He's a growing boy.
Yeah.
She slaps the shit out of him.
Oh my god.
He's just a riffraff street rat, and she hit him so hard he whips around.
This kid's gonna have fucking whiplash.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the concussions for Nathan
Yeah,
Drake.
it's the first one.
She calls him a filthy cast-off little beggar and says he's not fit to touch these objects. Marlowe goes to smack the shit out of Nate again because she didn't get enough the first time.
Jesus.
When Sully stops her and asks her to please stop smacking the shit out of the child witness. Nate takes advantage of this and makes a run for it. He races out of the museum and out into the rooftops. The gooners are in hot pursuit. Nate gets a little rattled when they start shooting at him. Nate races the rooftops and ends up at a dead end on a roof. One of the dorks hunting the child drops a gun, so Nate picks it up. One of Marlowe's men approaches Nate, gun drawn. They hold each other in a standoff, and Nate falls and scoots himself back as far as he can without falling off the roof. The man asks why Nate is shaking, all the while having a gun pulled on the boy. He tells Nate, "Just close your eyes. This won't hurt a bit."
Oh my god.
Nate closes his eyes, and we hear a bang. The man falls, Sully behind him, holding the smoking gun. Nate holds his gun with both hands, fully in shock. Sully goes to Nate and helps him up, telling him to, "Come on, kid." Sully takes Nate back to a restaurant and gets him some food. Nate's silent and shaken, but Sully is kind and soft to the boy. Nate eagerly eats the plate of food and sits with Sully, who lights a cigar. Nate asks, "All right, what do you want with me?" And Sully just says, "A little gratitude would be nice. I saved your ass."
Yeah.
Nate, while chewing, says, "All right, thanks."
Oh my gosh, ungrateful little shit.
That's what Sully said. They go back and forth a bit, Sully trying to get Nate to open up, Nate shooting Sully down and suspicious of his intentions. Nate now has the Sir Francis Drake ring around his neck, held by a cord of leather.
I mean, yay.
Sully introduces himself as Victor Sullivan, and Nate stares through him. Sully says, "This is the part where you introduce yourself." But Nate just says nothing and stares at him.
Nobody raised him.
That's true. Sully tries another approach and asks about the ring. Nate perks up and says, "This ring belongs in my family. I'm just taking it back." And Sully says, "Look, I don't know how to break this to you, kid, but Sir Francis Drake didn't have any heirs. No children."
Oh my god.
Nate looks at the ring and says, "Well, no kids with his wife back in England anyway."
Okay.
Sully is kind of
Fair.
impressed. Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, good point. Fair."
It's more of like that we know of.
Yeah. Sully asks for the ring and inspects it, wondering aloud what the inscription says. Nate confidently tells him it's Sig Parvis Magna, greatness from small beginnings. That was his motto. You see, Queen Elizabeth gave it to him in 1581 when he got back to England after circumnavigating the globe. That's when she made him a knight. Sully is like, "How the fuck do you know this but not manners? You sure as hell didn't learn that on the streets. How's a kid your age know Latin?" And Nate tells him that the nuns kind of insisted on it.
Yeah, they do.
Sully asked if it was a boarding school, and Nate tells him, "That's a nice word for it." Sully asks about the ring and the puzzle at the museum, and Nate says, "I don't know, you tell me, you're working for those people." And Sully keeps it real. He says, "I don't know what it is. A client asked me for something. I obtain it for a price. I don't ask questions, and I'm probably fired anyway, so just fucking tell me."
Yeah, that's how mercenaries work, kid.
He's 15. Nate accepts this, and his guard comes down. He scoots his chair closer to Sully and shows him his notebook and research and says, okay, look, that thing is a decoding device. On his way circumnavigating the globe, Drake sailed through the East Indies, only he says it took him 6 months, and that doesn't add up. He was too good a sailor for that. It should have taken him a month. He was hiding something really big, like secret mission from the Queen big, like millions in plundered treasure that hasn't ever been recovered big.
Oh my god.
And Sully leans in and says, that big? And Nate agrees. That big.
The big one.
Sully adds, and that decoder has something to do with it. And Nate says he'd bet his life on it. Sully is now mad because Marlowe has the decoder, but Nate holds his ring up and says, won't do her much good without the key. Sully says, you still haven't told me your name. And Nate hits him back with, and you haven't told me what you want from me. Sully admits Nate has great talent, but has a long way to go. He offers to teach Nate along the way, and they can pull some jobs together. Nate says he's fine working on his own, and Sully tries again, reaching his hand out and saying, my friends call me Sully.
Nice.
Nate giggles a bit, then says, he's Nathan Drake. They shake hands, and Sully says, I see great things in our future, kid. Great things. In the present, Sully and Nate have blood pouring out of their shirts while they lay in the garbage in the alley.
Oh. It's such a good little smash cut between the two.
You forget, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's on
right?
a whole level.
I'm just glad this one had a script.
Why are you so mad about Uncharted 1?
Still mad that one didn't have a script.
They knew what was going to happen.
Barely.
The bloke, Cutter, watches as Marlowe's car drives off. He says, and they're gone. Nate and Sully open their eyes, and Cutter helps Sully up. They need to move because the gunshot was loud, and the cops are surely on their way. Nate says Cutter could have pulled a few of those punches back there, and Cutter says, oh my god, I hardly touched you. And Nate tells him, you headbutted me.
That's such an aggressive way to hit somebody, too. Like, to me, that is the most aggressive way to hit someone. Like, you're hitting somebody's face with your face.
That's so punk rock.
Oh my god. Like, you have to do it right, or else you knock yourself out in the process.
Or you die.
Yeah.
There's a big margin of error with a headbutt.
Oh, too many. Too many ways that can all go wrong.
It's really the impractical of strikes.
It really is.
Cutter talks into a walkie, telling someone not to lose the tail on Marlowe. Nate reveals he had the real ring and relishes in Marlowe taking the bait. The boys head out to tail Marlowe back to her base. They've been trying to flush her out for a while, and finally, they got the opportunity for a good lead. The boys run through the night and make it to an unmarked white van, where my girlfriend, Chloe, pops out.
Aw, we like this one.
I love her so much. She says, evening, lads. Like, she's so hot. She looks at Nate and Sully and says, ugh, looks like hell spit you two back out. And Sully says, hey, it was a thing of beauty. Now, speaking of things of beauty, I went in so blind to this, and I was beyond excited to see Chloe.
Oh,
because
that's great.
just, like, for funsies, last time we saw her, she was humping Nate on a tropical island before handing him off to Elena while wearing an illegal amount of necklaces. And I simped really hard for her then, and I do now. I stand by that. She's fucking gorgeous.
I don't blame you.
She's cool as fuck, too. It's not just that she's hot, she's cool as fuck.
It's always a great combination.
Oh, she's so cool. Uncharted 2 is definitively the horniest Uncharted to date. This one, we're older, it's been 2 years, we're more secure with ourselves, and today, Chloe is wearing a normal amount of necklaces.
Oh, good for her.
Showing that she's mature. She is still wearing, like, graciously tight jeans, because she still has the best ass out of any Naughty Dog game. Period, fight me.
Well, I mean, she is running around a lot.
Yeah, Tom, sure. So's Joel Miller, but okay. I mean, not anymore.
Yeah.
Chloe looks at Nate and says, okay, you're unusually quiet. What's up your bum? Nate is like, our best friend just beat the shit out of me, dude. My ears are still ringing. And Chloe says, well, it usually helps if you have something in between your ears. Like, she's funny, she's hot, she's perfect. I can't apologize. I am who I am.
Comes in immediately insulting him.
I love her. I want to travel the world with her. Chloe points out a green roll-up garage door and says, they're in there. Marlowe's team went in, and no one's come out, so they're probably still in there. She hands the boys flashlights and guns with silencers. Sully asks if this is really necessary, and Cutter is very quick to tell him to not underestimate these people.
Also, you're with Nathan Drake. He likes to kill people.
Yeah, it just kind of happens all the time. Our squad comes to the door, and Nate offers to parkour his ass in to unlock it. Everyone stands around watching while Nate hangs on by his fingertips to pipes and shit until he breaks in.
I like the idea of everybody just kind of standing around while he does all this.
That's what it's gotta feel like, because these sections can kind of take a while. Sometimes you gotta, like, traverse across a thing or go around a building, and they're just standing there like, so,
There's gotta be a faster way, right?
you guys want to eat after this? Or, like, what are we doing? Nate's kind of weird, right? Like, do you think they talk shit about Nate?
I would. I definitely would, yeah.
You sat on that, you're like, his Subway ads really rubbed me the wrong way.
Eat this, motherfucker.
Oh my god. Nate gets in and it appears to be a relatively empty warehouse. Nate lets everyone back in and they find nothing. They can't even find the car that pulled in. It's really strange. Sully says he still smells the exhaust from the car, so like it can't be far. They follow the tire tracks to a dead end. It's just pointing towards a wall. Nate instructs the four of them to stand where the car would have been parked following the tracks. Nothing happens, but then a small panel opens on the wall the car would have been facing. Nate and Sully point their flashlights to the panel to mimic headlights, and the massive brick wall opens wide up, just enough for a car to pass.
That was really smart.
It's so fucking cool. The wall opens to a tunnel system, and Sully says, well, abra goddamn cadabra.
I like the advancement, though, because, like, it's usually, like, ancient kind of booby traps. I don't want to say booby traps, but, like, secret doors and shit like that, you
puzzles.
know? But this brought it into a modern twist, and I like that a lot.
They felt the weight of the car wheels in the right place, and then they hit the lights. It's so sick.
Yeah.
Now, Chloe is concerned because this is insane. She's also used to the puzzles and, like, the booby traps and shit. She asks, hey, Nate, who are we dealing with here? Nate says, well, there's only one way to find out, which is not the right answer.
No.
He sends Chloe back to the van, and Cutter tells her to stay in radio contact. The boys head down, and Sully wonders who drives their car underground. And Cutter says, well, it's someone who doesn't want to be followed, and Sully calls him a smartass. The tunnel leads into a service tunnel the boys follow. They go through some narrow walkways, and Cutter has a tiny panic attack because he is deeply claustrophobic. Sully tells him to just keep moving, and they almost immediately run into some suited gooners, more of Marlowe's men, and they're just walking through the tunnels. These gooners start shooting their loads at our boys, so they start blasting back.
The very definition of gooners is they don't shoot loads, but continue.
They're suited guys that shoot at you. They're goons.
That's what's happening here.
That's all I said. The boys keep this up until they reach an abandoned underground station. It's massive with lots of boxes and storage shit. They find Marlowe's car here, and Cutter says this place must be like 200 years old. It's such a huge area with a lot of small alcoves. Nate follows one into what looks like an underground castle. There's massive stonework, and it's beautiful. Cutter says it looks Tudor from the 16th century. The area itself is clean and gorgeous. There's bookshelves and display cases with artifacts from all around the world. Cutter's in shock and says, no, seriously, who are these people? Sully and Nate can't answer because they hear Marlowe telling someone she's sick of their excuses. The boys duck and hide and listen in from their second-story landing. Downstairs, there's a massive collection of artifacts, art, and books. Marlowe is scolding Talbot for being a dumb, messy boy, and they have a pack of blokes with them. She tells Talbot, your poor judgment could have cost us everything. She snatches a box out of Talbot's hands and opens it to reveal the decoder. She turns it over in her hands and says, 400 years of searching. Finally, Drake's secret will be revealed.
It's a lot of cereal boxes.
She holds the ring, the fake ring, and tries to pop it into the decoder, but it doesn't fit.
Nope.
She fidgets with it and then inspects it, declaring the ring a forgery. Talbot is shitting his pants and says, no, that's not possible. I verified it myself. I held it in my hands. He takes a quick look and says, that is not the same ring I held in my hands. Marlowe declares, well, we've been duped. Talbot immediately jumps to Cutter, and Marlowe agrees. Upstairs, Cutter gives a nod to Nate. He's like, hell yeah, I did double cross that bitch.
I gotta admit, that was a really good use of duped.
Marlo commands her gooners to stand guard and stay alert because they may have been followed. Marlo tells them, find them and get me that ring. I don't care how you get it. Marlo and Talbot leave. Quietly, our boys knock out all of Marlo's goons and then check out the space. Sully is impressed with the operation they have going here. Nate goes to the decoder and pulls out his ring, but gets distracted by a book open on the table. Sully tells Nate to hurry up, and Nate explains this book belonged to T.E. Lawrence. That's Lawrence of Arabia, the guy from the opening.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we heard his poem at the very beginning.
This is his personal notebook, and Nate finds a shipping label from Dorset on the day of his motorcycle accident, May 13th, 1935. Nathan Drake has special interests, and I think that's all.
He just locks in on this kind of information.
He has a photographic memory, I swear to God, because how could you just look at a book and be like, well, that's obviously sent from the day that this man died in a motorcycle accident in 1935.
We're just lucky that he comes preloaded with all of this knowledge.
Thank the Lord. Nate says, oh, they must have killed him once they got their hands on this, whoever these people are. Cutter is the reflection of myself and says, that is a load of bullshit. It was a car accident. Jesus Christ. Nate argues that, no, witnesses saw a black car run him off the road. Cutter makes fun of Nate being a conspiracy theorist for this, and Sully yells at Nate to put the goddamn fries in the bag. He's been waiting 20 years to put the ring and the decoder. Get your shit together. And Nate's like, oh, right. I'm sorry. My pride was almost challenged, so I had to go off on someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Nate takes off his ring, the real ring, and places it in the decoder. It slides in perfectly. He takes out his notebook and writes some things down, decoding the words, long hidden. Sully says, yeah, no shit, long hidden. Are you kidding me?
We knew that part.
Cutter tells Nate, no offense, but your alleged ancestor is an asshole. Nate tells him, oh my God, would you shut up? It's an anagram. Obviously.
Come on, everybody knew that.
Nate turns long hidden into golden hind. Cutter recognizes this as the Golden Hind, Drake's ship. Nate says, okay, this is a clue, and it's got to be hidden in this room because this is an escape room. Spread out. See what you can find.
That's exactly what this is.
Deadass. The boys start scouring this room of artifacts, and Nate finds the figurehead from the ship. It's a golden deer's head mounted high on a pillar. Nate climbs up, and then a fresh set of Marlo's goons enter, guns blazing. There's a shootout, and Nate falls off of the pillar along with the deer's head. A map falls out of it, and while people are actively shooting at him, Nate stops to read the map.
You know, this is not part of an escape room I've ever been in, though, I have to admit.
You don't go to the PG-13 ones.
Okay, it's true.
We're like, oh, we're spies. Let's see what happens. There's somewhere like a clown tries to kill you in town, Tom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They get way more intense. Nate's reading this map, and he realizes that Sir Francis Drake went to Arabia, and he's really surprised by this discovery. Sully and Cutter are annoyed that Nate isn't helping with the active shootout, and they yell at him, hey, dipshit, can you please help with the active shootout? The chase takes the boys back through the tunnels, and they come up through a subway station. They run out, guns still blazing, and are met with Chloe in her creepy white van. The boys dodge bullets as they load in, and Chloe tears ass away into the night. Later, the squad is at their hideout, toasting to a job well done.
Because Chloe is so fucking cool that she pulled that off.
She's so fucking cool! Cutter, Chloe, and Sully chop it up while Nate studies his notebook heavily. Nate presents his findings to the group, that Sir Francis Drake didn't dick around in the East Indies for 6 months. He went straight to Arabia. He shows a mark on the map from John Dee. John Dee is one of Queen Elizabeth's closest advisors who was seriously into the occult and is most likely responsible for the decoder. There's also some mythology that John Dee is responsible for the inception of like 007.
Oh, really?
Because of how he would sign things. He would kind of do a large circle, a small circle, and then a 7, so it kind of looked like 007, but that was his insignia.
So this was a real person?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So is Queen Elizabeth.
Well, I knew that part.
And Sir Francis Drake.
I know that part, too. I wasn't sure if, like, this random dude was.
San Francis Drake is also a hotel in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
I just felt like Nathan Drake being like, and I know more than you.
Here's Andrea with more San Francisco facts.
I love it. That's the fact. Chloe starts playing with the decoder because she's really bored of hearing Nate and Cutter argue about who knows more old shit.
Like, honestly, who isn't?
They figure John Dee and Queen Elizabeth sent Sir Francis Drake to Arabia, but they don't know what for. And Nate says, now that's where T.E. Lawrence came in. He explains that before he was Lawrence of Arabia, he was an archaeologist who was obsessed with the Crusades. He traveled all over, documenting every Crusader site he could find. After the war, Lawrence said that if he ever went back to Arabia, it would be for the Atlantis of the Sands.
Oh my lord, really?
A city of immeasurable wealth, destroyed by God for its arrogance, swallowed forever in the sands of the desert.
Oh, Sodom and Gomorrah?
The names change with certain iterations.
Over time and shit, yeah, but like, that's what that sounds like.
Sully, all he heard was the immeasurable wealth part.
Yeah.
So he's just as excited.
It was the Vegas of the time.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Nate thinks that this is exactly what Queen Elizabeth and John Dee sent Sir Francis Drake after, but right now, that's what Marlowe's after. Chloe asks, okay, but like, why all the secrecy about this? It looks like Drake went through a lot to hide this mission from the world, even from Her Majesty. Nate shrugs. He doesn't know, and that's not going to bother him for a while. Now, Chloe's annoyed, because, as she puts it, last time we went around the world searching for a lost city, things got kind of dicey.
Yeah, but you found it.
At what cost? I think she got shot.
Yeah. She's still walking.
Nate thinks this is all fine, because this time they have the upper hand. They have all the clues, and Marlowe has nothing. Sully waves his cigar and says, okay, but the desert is 600 miles across. Cutter reminds them that, and even if we knew where to look, which we don't, we would die trying to find it, which we will. Nate cracks open a notebook and shows that out of all the Crusader sites that Lawrence visited, there's 2 with a specific symbol that matches the map, one in Syria and one in France. Those have to be connected to the lost city. Nate says Cutter and Chloe are going to Syria, and he and Sully are going to France. This bums out Chloe. She's immediately like, can I go to France? And he's like, no.
Why does Chloe get stuck in Syria? Like, that genuinely not fair. Especially for a woman.
Because the boys are going to France.
A woman's going to get treated so much better in France than she is in Syria.
Nate doesn't see gender.
He needs to in this moment.
He can't see colors because of the concussion.
Oh,
he can't see gender because of the equalism.
It's the wrong kind of blind you're supposed to be.
It's just so cute because she really gets her hopes up, and then he goes, no, and she goes, damn it. I wanted to go to France. Once they get all the clues from both sites, then they're going to have everything they need to find the lost city of the Atlantis of the Sands. Cutter asks how they're going to get through 600 miles of desert, and Nate says, well, it's in the center, so it's only 300 miles. Then he kind of gives us like, we'll figure it out when we get there, and everyone's like, this doesn't feel good, but it's all we got.
Yeah.
The team also agree that this is insane, but they're in. And just like that, Nate and Sully are in France. They drive a Jeep as far as they can and park in a deep green jungle. Now, I saw an early version of this scene when they were doing mocap where Nolan North and Richard McGonigal were riffing, and as the scene opens, Nolan North says, she had a prosthetic leg and a real foot. I'd never seen anything like it. And then Richard McGonigal's like, all right, we're here. And they start the scene. But this made me lose my mind.
A prosthetic foot with a real leg. Or no, a prosthetic leg with a real foot.
Yeah, no, the more insane version. Like, are the tendons going through the wood? Like, what is... I love it.
What's the science behind this?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things. Because, like, you see... I was watching it kind of passively when I watch these things. I'll, like, take notes, but it's usually, like, something's on and I'm editing or doing something just for, like, background of, like, fun facts about whatever the fuck.
Right.
Or, like, the mocap videos. This one caught me and I had to go, I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say to me? And I ran that shit back and was like, nah, that was perfect. I love you.
Oh, I love those little improv moments.
The boys exit the car and Sully laughs, saying, leave it to you to find a jungle in the middle of France. Our boys go through the jungle talking about their previous journeys, doing prison time, all sorts of like silly boy things while they jump around the jungle. Deep down here, there's a beautiful chateau hidden in the jungle. Sully isn't sure about this. He says the castle looks more Renaissance than Crusader era. And Nate tells him that Lawrence said the original castle was built in the 11th century, and the rest was added on later. Nate would be very good at actually.
Yeah.
Or Jeopardy, I guess. That's the normal version of this for history, right?
I was also thinking that GeoGuessr.
Ooh, yeah.
I bet he'd be really good at that.
He'd be good at a lot of puzzle things.
Yeah.
He's wired different.
You'd want him in an escape room.
Or a trivia. Oh, God, could you imagine doing pub trivia with Nathan Drake? He has no idea what any song is, but he knows everything about everything that happened in history.
Except if it happened after 1984, he doesn't know what the fuck is going on, though.
That's when he was frozen in time.
Yeah.
Nate explains that the knight who owned this castle was Lord Godfrey, who returned from the Crusades in the 12th century. According to Lawrence, all that's left of the original castle is the square keep in the gardens. If Godfrey brought any secrets back from Arabia, that's where they're going to be. The castle's old and overgrown. No one's been here in a long time, not even squatters. Nate scales a castle to get inside and helps Sully get in too. The castle is absolutely falling apart, but the boys quickly make their way through to a square tower, one that Nate says he saw in Lawrence's notebook. They head to the square tower and find some puzzles, but the floor of the ancient building gives way and Nate and Sully get separated. Nate goes into a cavern under the castle and comes up in a well on the castle grounds. He pops his head up just in time to see Talbot and his men arriving at the chateau. And he looks like a whack-a-mole. Nate says, "Ah, crap," and hears Talbot order his men to find Nate and Sully. Nate's scared for Sully. They're absolutely outnumbered and outgunned. Nate kills dozens of men.
As Nate does.
And, that's a lot of people, and then he shoots his way back into the castle. He warns Sully about their unwanted visitors the best way Nathan Drake knows how. He covers the ground in bodies and kills as many people as he can. The gunfire will surely alert Sully.
He'll figure it out.
And he does. Nate is reunited in a courtyard shootout, and they clear the area together. Now that Talbot's blokes are on site, it's a race to the square tower for clues. Nate and Sully quickly head towards the tower. They get to a passage and find a man in a full suit, a modern suit, but he looks like all the liquids inside his body have been removed.
Oh.
He looks like a zombie decomposing, and Nate and Sully go to inspect him. Upon further inspection, the body belongs to one of Talbot's men. They've barely arrived. How did this guy get fully dehydrated and pruned up upon arriving?
Like one of those Indiana Jones like kind of things.
Yeah.
Oh my god, which this game, is
What? I haven't seen any parallels. Sully has no idea how this happened, but he sure as hell doesn't like it. Nate and Sully cautiously proceed, finding an alchemist laboratory. And this marks the second game where we've seen an ancient French alchemist lab this season, which is a lot.
It's one of those things that just happen a lot for some fucking reason.
Nate realizes this was John Dee's personal laboratory and has a big altar in the middle. Nate figures he traced the clues from the Crusades back here like Lawrence did. They find clues and decipher the message as, "The altar guards the entrance to the underworld." Nate thinks this has to do with ghosts, but Sully figures there's something hidden in the literal altar. And Sully is right, so they move the altar and find a secret passage. It leads to a cave that goes right up to a gigantic wooden door. The door is thick and heavy and creaks as they open it. Through the door is a space Sully figures is a family crypt, and that Godfrey is buried down here somewhere. Nate hopes Godfrey is buried here too and says it's because if Godfrey knew anything about the Atlantis of the Sands, he took it to the grave. And Sully's like, hell yeah, let's find that fucking grave. That sounds great. His grave is beyond a puzzle that Nate describes as a medieval game show. That's as far as we'll get into that.
Okay.
Godfrey is kept in a massive stone casket with a carving of a knight on top. Nate pushes open the top of the casket to reveal Godfrey's bones. He's not bothered by the skeleton, but grabs something, saying, "Look, an amulet!"
Oh, he's been hanging on to it for us.
There's something written on it. Nate busts open his laptop, and Sully looks at the dead body and says, "We're gonna do this right on top of Lancelot? Dead body, come on."
It phases Nathan in zero way. Like, you have stepped over so many fresh dead bodies.
Today.
Like a 400-year-old one, no effect whatsoever.
This guy's really cool about it, dude. Nate declares that on the amulet there's Sabaean script, which lines up with where Sir Francis Drake was in the 16th century. And this marks the second game where we've seen a charming American historian gravedigger pull something plot relevant out of a tomb this season, which is a lot.
Yeah, it keeps happening, doesn't it?
It will. The amulet is cracked in half, and all they have to do is hope the other half is in Syria and that Chloe and Cutter have it. They leave the tomb with the amulet in hand and are immediately met by Talbot and two of his gooner blokes. He tells the boys they did good work and orders his goons to take the amulet. Talbot gets the amulet, and then a distinct scuttering sound echoes through the chamber.
Ooh.
Spiders come crawling out of the shadows
I'm done.
and descend on everyone. Oh, you're gone.
I am out of here. Nope, no fucking spiders for me.
Nate and Sully huddle up, also afraid of spiders, and staying in the light of their torch while Talbot backs away slowly. One of his goons gets spiders all over him, and they take him down.
See?
He screams for help, but Talbot stares on while the man is taken to his knees and to the ground, and then stops moving.
Oh my god, eaten by spiders. Fuck that. That's the worst way to go. New fear unlocked. Like, nope, I would not make it through this game.
Talbot tells Nate and Sully, good luck, as he and his remaining goon leave out the door, locking it behind themselves and locking Nate and Sully in spider jail.
Yep, I wish them the same luck because I would be on the other side of that door.
Nate and Sully find an exit and run through the ruins of the tower as waves and waves of spiders chase after them. And this marks the second game where we've seen our heroes staying in the light of the fire to avoid staying away from a terrifying amount of deadly critters that chase them like a flood, which is a lot.
Oh my gosh, you had some parallels this season, huh?
A lot of my notes crossed over, Tom. The boys end up climbing the tower from the inside and jumping out to the safety to get away from the spiders. They resolve to not go back in there. They cross over into the chateau to get back into their car and get the fuck out of here. Unfortunately, the chateau is still crawling in Talbot's dork-ass gooners with guns, and they begin torching the place. So now we've got gunfire and regular fire. The castle fire spreads quickly, so Nate and Sully have to tear ass through the burning building. They barely escape and come out coughing their brains out, exhausted. Nate says, "Oh, that was close," and asks Sully if he's all right. The old man is clearly unwell and says, "Oh, I'm just swell. You just forget I've got 25 years on you."
Yeah, but you also smoke like 15 cigars an hour.
That's an accurate number, Tom. That's exactly how many cigars he goes through.
So he should be able to survive a little bit longer in the smoke. I'm not going to lie.
And Nate agrees. He's like, "You're strong as an ox. You're fine."
Yeah, that's the reason why.
Sully looks at the burning building, looks at Nate, and starts to scold him. He says Nate's losing the plot and accuses him of being reckless. He goes after intentions, and he says he's got his ego tied up in all of this. He warns Nate to be careful or he's going to get himself killed. Probably get them all killed. He wants Nate to give this one up. Nate is silent and then says, "Oh no." He realizes that if they were followed, Cutter and Chloe were followed too.
Oh, shit.
The boys put their bullshit aside and head face first into Syria to go after Chloe and Cutter and rescue them. The next night, the boys are in Syria. I would kill to know what travel credit cards they use and how they points max.
They probably had to use points for this one, though.
Well, it's a last minute. You don't want to spend cash on that.
Yeah, that's going to be an expensive flight.
It's a dark night, and we're at the Citadel, a massive historical tourist destination where Nate and Sully are sneaking around. Nate's concerned because he hasn't heard back from either of them, and he's been trying all day. They've got a few hours before tour buses start showing up, so they have to move fast. Nate and Sully enter and see a chain cut on the door, realizing they're not the first ones here. But Sully sees the bright side of the situation. Marlowe and Talbot think they're dead. This gives them the element of surprise. Nate thinks that Marlowe and Talbot probably have Chloe and Cutter in custody because they haven't heard back from them in 24 hours, and that's more important. As soon as the boys go in, they find a ton of Talbot's dork-ass gooners throughout the Citadel. They go deep, and after a while, are so deep, it's actually kind of concerning they haven't seen any traces of Chloe or Cutter yet. Sully says, where the hell could they be? And just like that, they turn the corner and pull guns on Chloe and Cutter.
Oh, there they are.
That was convenient. They all put their guns down in relief, and Chloe asks, "Hey, why aren't you in France right now? I wanted to go to France, and you told me I had to go to Syria, but I wanted to go to France. Why is no one in France?"
Bad shit goes down no matter where you go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, Nate explains He's here to rescue them. Cutter looks around and says, "What are you rescuing me from?"
Yeah, we're fine.
Sully says he thought they were captured, and Chloe laughs and is like, "Why the fuck did you think we got captured?" And the boys are like, "Well, we got followed and jumped, so we figured you guys were too." And Chloe and Cutter were like, "Again, we cannot emphasize enough that we are actively free and not captured. And you know this because you're looking at us."
We are so much better at this than you guys are.
Nate asks why he couldn't get a hold of them in the last 24 hours then, and Chloe goes, "Oh, my phone is broken." And Cutter just says, "I needed to top off my phone. The contract plans are a ripoff." Now, this derails Nate. He is bewildered that Cutter uses a prepaid burner phone, and he just starts unraveling at the thought of it. But Cutter stops him, and instead shows his notes to Nate. It shows Queen Elizabeth had spies out here that were all part of a hermetic secret society. And everyone was in on it, especially Sir Francis Drake. It's all connected to the British Occult Secret Society, and Marlowe is chasing exactly that. Some ancient occult bullshit. Cutter shows Nate a message he translated in his research that says, "As above, so below." Nate says, "Okay, I figured it out. Obviously, we have to get to the highest point of the castle. That's the key to this." And they're like, "Ah, thank God you're here." The path to the tallest tower is lined with bullets and bad boy blokes, and this is a massive battle arena, and it's quite fun, to be real. The gang makes it to the highest tower and starts inspecting it for entrances. Cutter is furiously looking through his notes for clues. While inspecting a wall alone, Cutter catches a dart in his neck.
Oh no.
He looks up to see Talbot, smoking dart gun in hand.
Oh damn.
Cutter pulls a real gun on Talbot, who simply commands him, "Give it to me." Cutter's face fights his actions. He's helpless to Talbot's commands. He hands the gun over and shakes his head. He's fighting whatever's happening, but he's not strong enough. Talbot demands Cutter's journal, which he also hands over. Cutter slaps his own face, unable to take the wheel of his own body. Talbot leans in and simply says, "Don't trust Drake." Nate, Sully, and Chloe come around the corner to see Talbot whispering in Cutter's ears. They pull guns, but Talbot already has a gun on Cutter, so no one fires. Talbot holds Cutter's journal up, revealing he has all the same knowledge the team has now. And then he just walks into the fucking shadows.
Oh damn.
They go up to Cutter to check on him, and Cutter winces at seeing Nate. Nate pulls the dart out of Cutter's neck, and Sully says, "Man, what kind of Black Ops bullshit is this?" Chloe, forever the realist, just says, "Let's just hope he didn't have too big a dose of whatever it is." Cutter starts to crash out while Nate goes to comfort him, but Cutter snaps and demands Nate not touch him. Nate respects this and steps away. Cutter goes to Chloe and informs her that her face is peeling off.
What?
Chloe says, "Oh, god damn it, Cutter's tripping balls."
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what the shit?
Cutter paces away from her because, as he says, the floor is melting.
Oh no. Yeah, he had too big of a dose.
Now, the team simply does not have enough time to deal with this. So they just shuffle Cutter around while they look for an entrance to the secret passage. No one is available to babysit him.
Are they dragging him, or are they just kind of like trying to push him off to the side?
They're kind of flanking him, like, "All right," you know when you try to get like a cat to go in the bag, and you're
Okay.
like, "All right, I'm gonna stand here so you don't go over here."
Yeah, yeah.
Or like when you block off things for a Roomba.
Well, because I'm also thinking of Wolfenstein 2. The one guy's tripping balls the entire time.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he loses his ear and he's taking all the acid he got from the Jimi Hendrix character.
Yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, this team is just like, well, yeah, say we're gonna fucking deal with it. Naturally, they do find a hidden entrance, but it's extremely dark and old and narrow. And Cutter, who again is completely tripping balls, is extremely claustrophobic. Cutter ends up swinging on Nate, since he was recently hypnotized into not trusting him, and this kicks off a best friend boss battle between Nate and Cutter.
Oh no.
Now, Nate doesn't hit Cutter because he doesn't want to hurt his friend. He just evades him because he loves him. Cutter gets the upper hand and sits on Nate, choking him out. Nate starts to go weak by the time Sully and Chloe notice they're missing and they go back to find them. Sully screams that Cutter's gonna kill Nate, and Chloe holds Cutter's face in her hands and tells him he's killing Nate. Don't do that. Sully pulls his gun, ready to shoot Cutter. This snaps Cutter out of it, and he lets go of Nate. Nate struggles to get air back in his lungs, and Chloe goes to check on him. Cutter shakes it off and goes to Nate, apologizing profusely. Nate simply tells him, "We're even."
Oh.
Cutter asks Sully if he was actually going to shoot him, and without hesitation, not even the polite kind, Sully snaps back like a rabid dog. Nate gets the gang back on track after finding a passageway. Cutter offers Sully to go ahead of him, and Sully declines because he's not ready to turn his back on him yet. I love that Sully immediately is like, I have a grudge. You tried to kill my boy. They find a puzzle deep underground that centers around a massive globe. Nate solves the puzzles using parkour and reveals a pathway into an ancient crypt. Nate tells everyone they're looking for a knight's tomb, and specifically, an amulet inside. They do find a knight's tomb, similar to the one in France. They remove the top of the casket, and Cutter reaches in, grabbing the half of the amulet. He says, "Great, okay. Nate, where's the other half?" Nate shows off his journal, where he got an etching of the amulet before Talbot took it. With this piece and Nate's etching, they know exactly where to go in Yemen. Cutter puts the amulet back in his jacket, and they head out, and almost immediately stop in their tracks because they hear Talbot. They turn and go back to the tomb and look around a bit until they find a path with a breeze between the bricks. Nate and Cutter shoulder hit the wall until it breaks open. The tomb wall falls apart outside on the surface and on top of one of Talbot's lookout guards. Now, I think this is just silly that a wall killed a loose asshole, and it was very cute.
Can you just imagine, though? You're just standing around, just the wall kills you.
Yeah. But you're a dick, so like...
Yeah, I know, you're in the wrong. Still sucks.
It does suck. The gang head down and are immediately met with a broken bridge, and Talbot and his men on the other side. Everyone pulls guns on each other. It's a full standoff. And then, Cutter begins to shake. Chloe notices first as Cutter lowers his gun and re-aims it at Nate. Talbot orders everyone to drop their guns and is smug as fuck. Sully, Chloe, and Nate drop their guns down in the ravine under the bridge. Talbot orders Cutter to shoot. Cutter says, "My pleasure," and swivels to point his gun at Talbot. He starts shooting at Talbot and Talbot's men, and they start shooting at him. And Cutter tells his friends to run. The distraction gives the team a good head start and certainly shakes up Talbot. They run for a tower, and Cutter is paces behind them. Cutter's like, "I don't know why you actually dropped your guns. That was fucking stupid, guys." And they're like, "How would we know that? Fuck you, dude." They climb to a roof and get to a point where they have to jump. Sully, Chloe, and Nate jump, but Cutter stops, unable to make the jump. Talbot and his men catch up to Cutter while the gang watches on, unarmed and unable to help. Talbot has one of his men strike Cutter, and Talbot takes the amulet. Marlowe now catches up, glancing at the amulet before looking down and saying, "Oh, Cutter, I had such high hopes for you." He holds his broken ribs, laughing, saying, "Haha, yeah, right." Talbot whispers something into Marlowe's ears, and she says, "It's true. You had potential. But now? It's funny how things turn out." Two of Talbot's goons appear with gas tanks, pouring them all around Cutter. A second level of goons show up, gun in hand, all pointed at Cutter. Marlowe says, "You betray my trust, and now we find ourselves here. As if it were in the cards all along." She lights a match and throws it, engulfing the area around Cutter in flames.
Oh.
Cutter doesn't know what to do and looks around. He looks down at the lower walkway the gang is on. It's probably like 15-20 feet below him. Nate out loud yells, "No!" because he knows this is a bad idea.
Oh, this is terrible.
But Cutter jumps, landing on his ankles.
On his ankles. Oh, fuck.
The gang runs to him and are like, "Hey, man, that was weird." Cutter angry exhales through the pain of a broken leg. The goons are hot on their trail, so they have to move fast. Sully lifts up Cutter and offers to help him walk if Nate covers them. Sully hobbles with Cutter behind Nate and Chloe as they escape the tower. It's morning now, and the tour buses have started to roll up. As they manage out of the tower, they figure this is a good cover, and they steal an idle tour bus to leave.
Okay, so they steal an idle tour bus. I was worried they were going to try to, like, pass off as being customers of the tour bus.
Oh, we're tourists.
But also, like, dragging a friend onto it whose legs are shattered.
No, it's a Weekend at Bernie's situation.
Yeah.
He really wanted to see the Citadel in Syria, and
All
we
right.
gotta take him.
Just lift your legs just a little bit. We gotta fake it.
Chloe has an I Heart Syria shirt on. We love the Citadel. Big fans. Sully peels out in the stolen tour bus, and they hit the road. A while later, they've lost their Talbot tail, and they catch up. This is all way too close, too dangerous. Chloe's upset and says, hey man, this shit isn't worth it. She tells Nate to let this one go. Cutter argues immediately, saying, you cannot let this one go. He says, if you let these bastards win after this, I'll never forgive you. I broke a leg because I made the decision to jump.
Yeah, like, that was your choice, dude.
And now this is your vendetta, Nate. Do you understand? Nate ignores Chloe hard stop and says, don't worry, Cutter. There's no way I'm letting them win.
We're gonna avenge your legs.
Chloe's like, I know we broke up for a fucking reason. Chloe asks what the fuck Nate is trying to prove, and he says he's not trying to prove anything, but then he does not elaborate.
He doesn't try to prove otherwise either.
Exactly. Instead, he goes to the front of the bus to talk to Sully. Sully asks him what the plan is, and Nate says, we're going to Yemen, and then he asks Sully if he's up for the trip. Sully's almost insulted and says, of course I'm up for it. I love Yemen. Nate says, well, we need a quick way in with no hassles. Sully beams, saying, oh my god, I think I might know someone we could call.
Imagine that.
Nate asks who, and based on Sully's knowing smile, he already knows who. And Nate says, no. Sully asks him if he's got a better idea, and Nate says no. He's immediately uncomfortable. He shifts his weight, balancing the guilt he carries before admitting defeat. He tells Sully, fine, make the call. Not long after, the boys land in Yemen in a secured airbase. Waiting for them on the ground is the yellow-haired journalist, Elena Fisher.
I was wondering when she was gonna show up.
She's at least happy to see Sully.
Yeah. Nobody's ever happy to see Nathan Drake.
Because Nate usually got them into some shit. Sully's just fun. He goes to hug her, but she says no and explains that hugging is frowned upon here.
Oh, okay.
But she does offer that the boys could hold each other's hands. Nate asks how she's doing, and Elena is very short, just saying, great. He tells her she looks great, and she explains, all right, I have press badges for you two so you can get in the country, but do not fuck this up for me.
Just blows past that.
She is very quick to break eye contact with Nate and cold shoulder him as much as she can.
Ooh, so much for that old chemistry.
She turns and leads them away from the airport, and Nate reaches over and holds Sully's hand.
I love that for them.
Sully holds it for a moment and then realizes what's happening and just swats him away. But for a moment. Elena reminds the boys that they're here as journalists for their press badges, okay? So don't do anything too fucking weird. She takes them to a car and asks, all right, so what are you actually doing here? And Nate says, oh, I'm here for historical research. She sees through this and says, oh, what, no cursed artifacts, no warlords? Nate's insistent that no, there's none of that's happening. It's all normal stuff. It's regular.
Yeah, just cult shit.
Elena is sick of it. She calls Nate a terrible liar, and he turns with his full body to face her and asks if she really wants to start this shit again. Sully offers to take his and Nate's bags to the car, and Nate can catch up when he's done with whatever the fuck this is. I want a cigar. Alone now, Nate points at Elena's left hand and says, you're still wearing it. Elena pulls her hand up to meet her eye, looking into her wedding band. She explains, this helps in this part of the world. And she's matter of fact, like this is obvious, and has nothing to do with Nate.
Oh.
She tells him not to flatter himself, and he's still wearing his, gesturing to his Sir Francis Drake ring on his necklace.
It's different.
She studies it again, saying, wait, that's what this is all about, isn't it? Nate excitedly tells her, okay, girl, listen, I can prove it. Drake lied about his trip to the East Indies. 400 years ago, he came here. He thinks Elena will be so excited for him, but instead she asks, why this obsession? She says she's just worried, and Nate says, I can take care of myself. She says she's not worried about him, And Nate asks if she's worried about Sully. She says, Sully would go to the ends of the earth for you, Nate. Just don't ask him to. Nate says, okay, first of all, that's not fair. Also, what is that even supposed to mean? Which I think is very clear in Nate's being a dumb boy.
Yeah, I think that was pretty obvious.
Elena heads to the car where Sully is smoking a cigar. She gets in and, begrudgingly, Nate follows. He's sad because he lost the fight. In the car, Sully says she can drop them off the edge of the city. Elena just laughs at this, and she's like, you two are my responsibility with the government now, so I'm not taking my eyes off of either of you.
At any point, you two are dangerous.
Elena takes the boys into the city, saying that they should start in the old quarter to pick up Drake's trail. There's a path blocked off, so Elena goes to talk to the guards to see if they can pass. While they're alone, Sully is very quick to nudge Nate and say, hey, she's still wearing her wedding ring.
Oh my god, drop it.
He waited until they were alone, though.
Yeah, but just, stop thinking on it.
And Nate is very quick to repeat Elena's words and tell him, it helps in this part of the world. They concur that neither of them knows what that means, but okay, Elena. Elena comes back and says they have to take a different path. While traversing, Sully spots Talbot. Sully and Nate talk quickly about how Talbot still has Cutter's journal. Elena recognizes him and full names him as, I'm sorry, are you talking about Charlie Cutter? Nate says, Sully can explain everything, and then he runs off to parkour towards Talbot and get away from the conversation.
I just like the idea that he quickly parkours away, too.
Yeah, he's like, oh, Sully can fill you in, and then he jumps into a roof.
Yeah.
And you're like, sure, Nate. Nate parkours and sneaks after Talbot, following him into a building. Nate finds Talbot when he turns a corner in the building, and Talbot punches Nate in the face.
Ooh.
Talbot picks up Nate and says, you couldn't leave it alone, could you? And throws Nate out a window.
Oh my god.
Now, it's a ground level window, but still very dramatic.
It's still glass.
Some of Talbot's gooners were around this building, guarding it, and they jump into action to fight Nate.
And then you gotta fight?
Immediately. Like, there's glass in you. I remember this sequence being so fucking long. Like, there are waves and waves of gooners just showing up to fight Nate. There are so many people, and it's also a very narrow alley that you're fighting in. It's a very small combat zone. There's so many.
Once again, just bodies piling up underneath your feet.
This took forever. Sully spots Nate, and they catch up with Elena in tow. The three run through Yemen and find a building to hide out in. Elena demands to know what the fuck is going on with these guys and Cutter. Sully says, all right, I'll tell you. Chloe is invited too, but she recently bowed out when Cutter broke his leg. Elena's confused, and she's so confused, it's making her upset. She's like, now Chloe's involved? Like, she eventually just yells, just tell me what you're looking for. Nate looks up from his notebook at the altar in the middle of the room they're standing in and says, this. Looking for this.
Oh, hey, there we go.
In the center of the room is a beautiful geometric altar that Nate declares is their secret entrance. Sully says they'll need guns, and Elena points him in the direction of a street merchant who's selling more than just rugs. He leaves, and immediately, Nate and Elena are in each other's faces. Nate demands to know why Elena is giving him crap about Sully, which is not important, to be super fucking clear.
Not in the least bit.
And Elena is furious that Nate wouldn't just come clean off the bat about why they're here. There was no reason to lie. Elena asks if this is about Marlowe. Nate crumbles and says yes, and then he shows her the decoder. He catches her up on the journey and the trail of the treasure and smugly says, now come on, admit it. You love this stuff as much as I do. Elena hands back the decoder and says, nope, not anymore. Nate takes the decoder, but can't take a hint. He says, oh, if you don't love it, then walk away. Elena is furious now, laughing at him at the idea of her being the one to walk away.
Right.
Sully returns with 2 illegally purchased shotguns. This somehow breaks the tension.
Oh, I love that he knows the guy.
He hands one to Elena and tells Nate the shopkeep only had 2, leaving Nate unarmed. They remove the cover of the altar to reveal a well, to which Sully says, well, well, well. Elena is disappointed in the joke, but not surprised. The 3 go down into the well, probably 30 feet below the surface, and they're in a secret chamber. Elena asks for a catch-up, so they say, all right, here's the thing. Sir Francis Drake was on a secret mission from the Queen to find the Atlantis of the Sands, which is real, and the trail is led here, to this chamber that should triangulate exactly where the city is in the desert. Nate leads the trio through a puzzle that reveals a hidden passageway. The passageway goes into a beautiful temple with several puzzle rooms to solve. This marks the second game where we've seen a beautiful temple with several puzzle rooms to solve to advance in the game, including a very specific puzzle where you place gears in the correct order for a mechanism to work this season, which is a lot.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry you're having deja vu.
It's not derivative. It's not derivative.
Game.
It's not derivative. It's not derivative. It's not derivative.
Oh, it came before a lot of the games you played.
Yeah, this is the blueprint, but it's weird that it's happened a lot.
Yeah.
As they move forward, Elena and Nate talk about what happened with Drake on this. It looks like he came this far, turned around, and headed home, and concealed any evidence of the journey for whatever reason.
Just said, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Drake ever made it to the lost city of the Atlantis of the Sands, so what happened? Elena thinks he hid his trail for a reason. Nate did not consider this and is uninterested in this theory. He's interested in running deeper and deeper into the depths of this temple. The walls have elaborate sketch designs on them, and there's incredible statues throughout. In a chamber, they find an antique brazier. Nate lights the fire pit, and it shines a beautiful starry night sky across the ceiling. Sully says, "Oh, the Arabs use the stars to navigate the desert, just like sailors on the ocean."
Oh, interesting.
This is a map. Nate looks up and asks Sully to remember the star pattern, putting Sully's Navy expertise to the test. He doesn't want to risk writing it down and having that be snatched up by Talbot through, hypnosis or some shit.
Right.
Elena breaks it up and points out that all the murals on the walls here are of horrified, screaming faces.
Oh my god, that is not what you want to see.
It's usually bad. Elena asks if they hear that, and Sully hears a sound they know all too well. Nate instinctively grabs Elena and holds her close to him. Sully cocks his shotgun. The murder spiders reemerge in the crypt.
Oh god, not the murder spiders.
We hate the murder spiders.
They're the worst kind of spiders.
They are at least top 10 bad. Nate sweeps his torch to light a path for Sully and Elena to get back to safety. Sully and Elena scream at Nate to hurry because no one wants to be eaten by a gang of spiders.
Nobody at all.
They emerge from the temple crypt. Nate looks around and is in awe of where they've ended up. The ceilings are high and the wall art is complex. There's murals all around with horrifying messages crudely painted over them, saying shit like, "The cup of death will be filled for thee," or "Their wealth did not save them," which is fucked up to read.
Yeah.
Sully notes that the messages are all in English. So Nate says, well, then it must have been Sir Francis Drake.
That's the only person who could do this in English.
There's only one person historically that's ever used English, and it's Sir Francis Drake. Elena is so beyond sick of this shit. She says, okay, so Sir Francis Drake sailed all around the world to get here to find the Atlantis of the Sands. He got this far, and whatever he saw or found was enough for him to turn around and sail back home and hide any evidence of his entire expedition. But you're gonna keep going? Nate hits her with a, yeah?
Yeah, probably.
What, like it's hard? Elena turns and says, Sully, come on, Sully, he listens to you. Make him stop. Sully laughs and Nate invites Sully to tackle him. He's like, come and get it. Elena is beyond over this shit. She breaks and says, listen, you outsmarted her. You win. You know where to find the city and Marlowe doesn't. Why can't that be enough? Nate again has no words. Elena turns and leaves. Sully looks at Nate, shrugs, and follows Elena. Silently and grumpily, the three of them walk forward through the temple here. Their path leads back to the opening of the secret entrance where they dropped in. As they get closer, smoke bombs fall from above.
Whoa.
And Sully announces it's an ambush and to get down.
Oh.
It's more of Talbot's guys.
Jesus Christ.
Nate and Sully take down the Gooners, and the three of them come up and out to the street level again. Nate makes everyone leave their guns down in the temple because they can't take these out on the streets. They quietly move through the crowded market. Nate grabs his neck suddenly, pulling a dart out of his skin.
No, you're going to be tripping balls here in a minute.
Sully and Elena turn to see, in horror, that Nathan Drake is afraid. Nate tells them to run, and Elena and Sully walk toward him. Nate begs them to stay away, and Sully finds the dart, telling Elena, oh, they drugged him. Nate screams at Sully and Elena to get away, and then he swings at both of them, and then he runs down an alley. Nate is 100% the friend that when you're drunk, goes out on side missions and gets lost for half the night.
Anyone who's been on a bachelor party had that one person just disappear for the entire time.
And they show up at breakfast like everything's fine, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, entirely.
The world is wavy, and Nate tries to get just as far away from his friends as he can to keep them safe. He talks to himself and hears Talbot's voice in his head. He says, trust me, it'll all be over soon. Nate calls for Sully, but Talbot's voice tells him, you're on your own now. Nate goes through an insane loop of city streets, distorting more and more until all Nate can see is white. Nate comes to at a cafe table on the street. He sees all his things laid out, his map, his press pass, his notebook, the decoder. He looks up and sees Marlo holding his ring. She holds it, she looks at Nate, and she says, welcome back. Nate sits up scared and sees Talbot over at the next table, watching them. There's another muscular man sitting at the next table over who nods at Nate. They're adding to their goon squad now. Marlo is calm and tells Nate, I don't recommend making a scene. You're not exactly here legally, remember? She turns the ring over in her hands, reading, Greatness from Small Beginnings. She giggles and says, beneath that cocky exterior, you're still the same scared, filthy little runaway, aren't you? Hungover from the cocktail of neck drugs, Nate snaps at Marlo to skip the mind games. You don't know me, man. Marlo leans in across the table to tell Nate, I suspect I know you better than anyone, Mr. Drake. Of course, that's not your real name, is it?
What?
Your mother commits suicide. Your father surrenders his son to the state at the age of 5, entrusted to the St. Francis Boys' Home. She leans back and laughs, calling Nate's life, so Dickensian. Which is the most British, read, I think, you could do.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Marlo lets some images of Elena be visible to Nate, who lurches forward. Marlo tells Nate, don't worry, she's of no interest to us. Unless, of course, we need to apply a little pressure. Nate asks, what do you want from me? Marlo says, well, as much as it pains me to admit, I need your help to find Victor Sullivan. We know he has the coordinates to the Atlantis of the Sands.
It sounds like it's going to be a casino or something.
It definitely sounds like a cruise liner, unfortunately. But it's fun. Nate asks how she knows that, and she's smug when she tells him, oh, honey, you told us. It seems your loyalty isn't as firm as you'd like to think it is. You know, we've had you in our clutches for a while, and he hasn't made any effort to come rescue you. He didn't rescue you back in Cartagena either. He just saw something he could exploit.
Oh.
Nate shifts in his seat like a scared little boy. Marlo tells him, and trust me, Victor is only in it for Victor. That's a cold, hard fact. I discovered it 20 years ago. I'm surprised it's taken you this long to figure it out. Nate looks her hard in her eyes and says, you're wasting your time, lady. Talbot stands and goes to Marlo. She tells Nate, all right, fair enough, but ask yourself, when he scooped you off the streets of Colombia 20 years ago, did he save you from that life? Or did he doom you to this one? Talbot leans in and says something private to Marlo, who says, excellent. She turns to Nate and says, well, we've located Sullivan, so I'm sorry, Nathan. It seems you've been removed from the equation. The muscular man stands and goes behind Nate and puts his massive hands on Nate's shoulders. Nate laughs and then throws the table over, causing a scene and running. Talbot turns to see Nate, then takes off. Nate chases him through the streets of Yemen. They take off, racing across rooftops, through buildings, and in the streets. This marks the second game where we've seen our hero chase their adversary across rooftops through an old city this season, which is a lot. They end up in a dead end, and Talbot is on the ground, but looks up at Nate just as Nate catches a chair to the head from the muscular man.
Oh, no.
Everything goes dark.
Too many concussions.
So many. Nate's awakened when a bag is ripped off his head. A big, muscular man, the one that knocked him out, sits in a chair across from Nate. Nate's also sitting, but he's tied to his chair. They're in a massive storage area with shipping containers. The man introduces himself as Ramses and says, hey, the English lady paid me to get rid of you. He puts on a cowboy hat and tells Nate, you should thank me, my friend. Nate's finding it hard to be grateful, but does say thanks while he looks around. Ramses says, look, I'm a nice guy. I saved your life. Right now, I'm the only friend you've got. Where's the lost city of Atlantis of the Sands?
Oh my god.
Nate figured this was coming, and he explains he doesn't know. This annoys Ramses, who tells Nate he's insulted. Nate argues that Ramses is a pirate, and he should get over it. Ramses the pirate says, but look, I'm also a businessman. Where's the fucking city?
Also, Nathan's kind of a pirate.
I know, right? He's definitely doing pirate shit.
Yeah, he's done a lot of pirate shit in his time.
Nate says, look, you can torture me all you want. And Ramses is like, okay, and just is like, that's fine.
Bet.
Ramses starts to leave, but says, let's see if your friend is more cooperative. Your friend, Victor Sullivan.
Uh-oh.
Now Nate's panicking. Ramses says he's worried about torturing Sully in his big age, but essentially says it has to be done. Nate screams at Ramses to leave Sully alone, to not touch him, but Ramses leaves Nate alone with a bunch of his pirate gooners. Nate is still tied to a chair, and he starts getting the shit beat out of him. Ramses' men are punching him in the face, and all he can do is take it. Until he doesn't. Nate gets sick of this shit and headbutts a goon, runs his chair into a wall to smash it into pieces, and is now unarmed, but ready to brawl.
Gosh, all these like action hero movie moments where you just like do the most ridiculous shit to get out of like whatever situation you're in. I love it.
And you're like, that's not how chairs work.
Not at all. Like,
Be fucking for real.
How often have you seen a chair genuinely crumble like that? Other than a movie?
None.
Yeah.
Literally none.
In the wild, never.
I fell out of a rocking chair once and it hit me twice.
Oh.
I was a kid.
Oh no, once on the way out and once on the way back.
Yeah. I like bumped my head, fell, and then it hit me again. I was like, that was fucked up. I'm 7. There's a ton of Ramses' guys out here punching the shit out of Nate, but he makes a big old body pile and fights his way through them. Nate breaks through them and finds a door, which leads him outside of the shipping area and into a marina full of broken, forgotten, and rotted through ships.
Oh, damn.
This area looks like a disaster, and it's crawling with pirates.
Well.
Nate's not sure where to go, but he knows he needs to keep moving, so he goes through the boat graveyard to figure out what to do next. Eventually, he sees a bunch of Ramses' guys out on a ship on the water, one that's probably leaving soon, and figures that's gotta be where Sully is. The ship begins to set sail, and a storm rolls in, for dramatic effect. Nate swims and shoots his way to Ramses' ship, eventually leaping for his life as he boards. Ramses is operating out of a decommissioned cruise liner. It's pretty trashed because the pirates have no sense of hospitality. The cruise liner is also home to a shit ton of storage containers, probably full of pirate shit. Nate overhears a comms message saying, "Take the prisoner to the hold," and figures, oh my god, that's gotta be Sully, so he heads for him. He goes deeper through the ship until he finds an area with storage containers and a man tied to a chair with a bag over his head. Nate runs to him, rips the bag off, and is reunited with nothing. Fuck you, that's not Sully, it's a trap.
Oh, no.
Ramses catches up and says, Nathan, you've given me too much trouble. I promise you, we're gonna end it now. Nate holds his hands in the air. Many of Ramses' guys have guns pointed at him. Ramses admits to never having Sully and chalks his deception up to being a pirate. Ha ha ha.
And a great actor.
Ha ha ha. Ramses has one guy go down to Nate to tie him up, but Nate headbutts this guy. A lot of headbutting. Throws a smoke bomb and shoots Ramses in the shoulder.
And the one person who shouldn't be headbutting is Nathan Drake.
Is Nate scrambled eggs for brains Drake?
Oh my god, he's just gonna give himself another one.
I think he gets stronger. I think his brain swells, and then he can use that space in his brain for more historical facts.
Oh my
like,
god.
That's a decent headcanon. It lines up for the encyclopedic knowledge that he has of the world.
He always reads after a concussion, so that way when it swells back
That's what
down,
locks in.
like it locks it in.
Don't tell people that's how concussion works.
That's
I'm
not
begging
how
you.
learning works either.
I get a concussion, then I watch a shit ton of Muzzy, and then I know how to speak French. Mal la tête, docteur.
Yeah.
Ramses hobbles away while Nate starts a firefight with more pirates. The ship springs a leak and falls to the side. Everything is sideways and wet, and Nate is not happy about this. He runs as far as he can and ends up in the theater where a massive glass window shows the ship is capsized.
Oh shit.
Nate is like, damn, I'm getting the fuck out of this aquarium. He turns to leave when he hears Ramses. Ramses has hobbled his ass to Nate to deliver one last line to his friend.
Yeehaw, me hearties.
You're not that far off.
Really?
Ramses, the pirate with the cowboy hat, says, "See you in hell, Habibi!" And then with all the drama in the world, he shoots at the glass window. The window cracks and spiderwebs out as if it's destroyed under the weight of the lake. I'm sorry. The weight of the ocean.
Oh my God, no.
Nate tries to outrun the ocean, but he can't outrun the ocean. He comes up for air a few moments later, holding a bit of driftwood out at sea.
Like, I'm picturing some Titanic shit.
Oh, fully, but like really, really fast.
Okay.
That shit took 3 hours.
Yeah.
This is like, bam, bam, we're underwater.
Okay.
Nate coughs the salt water out of his lungs and hangs onto the driftwood for dear life. In the morning, Nate wakes up face down on a beach. He looks up and sees an honest-to-God vulture, and Nate tells the metaphor to get out of here.
You really should not have survived that.
It felt heavy-handed in that moment, too, to have a vulture. He's on the edge of a fishing village. Men are awake and already setting out their nets for the day. Nate waves at them awkwardly and walks into the city.
What? None of them even stopped remotely?
They said, "That's not my business."
One of them probably pulled him in.
And they're like, "It's still not my business."
Either he'll be fine or he'll be dead.
I
Who
already
cares?
stole his wallet. Elena is in an apartment, on the phone, asking for assistance. Nate pushes the door open and leans in the doorframe, exhausted. She cuts the phone call and runs to Nate, hugging him and holding him. He says, "I thought that was frowned upon."
Oh.
And Elena tells him to shut up. She's terrified. She says, "I thought you were really gone this time." The first thing Nate asks is, "Where's Sully?"
Oh, I thought he was going to say, "Where's Chloe?" That'd be really
Chloe
fucked
was
up.
way nicer about this shit. Elena tells him that Sully is alive, but Marlowe has him. They're in a convoy headed into the desert. Nate stumbles back to the door, saying, "Then we gotta go."
Oh, God.
Elena stops him and puts him on the couch to rest. She says Marlowe has at least a 2-day head start on us, so we'll never catch up. "I got a plan, but we only have one shot at doing this." Nate agrees, and after that, Elena explains that there's a cargo plane that's doing a supply drop at the convoy. Nate says, "Oh, we gotta be on this plane." And Elena's like, "Yeah, you're concussed, but well, yeah."
We do need to be on that. Very good.
Nate says, "I'm sorry, do you realize that means that we're parachuting in?" And Elena laughs and says, "It's not like we haven't done it before. This is regular." Nate says, "Okay, well, I could really use a glass of water, and then we gotta get going." Elena tells him the plane isn't taking off until dawn, so he should get a few hours of sleep. She moves Nate's body to lay on her lap.
Aw.
Nate sprawls across the couch in Elena's arms. He asks, "Were you really going to do that all on your own?" And she says, "Oh, for Sully? Absolutely."
Hell yeah. Honestly, everybody rides for Sully.
Sully's the fucking best. Nate starts relaxing and says, "I like the way you think." He reaches over and holds her left hand, looking down at the ring he slipped on her finger, and tells her, "I'm sorry."
Oh.
Elena holds his hand back and just says, "I know." And now, I'm sure I've brought this up. I don't think they're right for each other.
No.
I don't like them together. I think they have different priorities. The sex can't be that good. I'm sure the parkour, a lot of hand strength, whatever. But like, it's keep going, girl.
They're
keep
just
going.
not compatible.
I don't think they have the right things in mind. Yeah, you're entirely correct. I'm sorry. I was trying to make it flashier and therapist-y, but yeah, bad together.
Yeah.
Good friends. I think they can be fantastic friends. They're not in a place in their life where they can commit to each other.
And Chloe's so much more on his level.
Oh, Chloe's so hot, but that's the thing. Chloe wouldn't let him hit like that because she's way too cool for that.
Yeah, she kind of did let him hit.
She let him hit, but she didn't let him hit on like the regular basis. Like he was not in rotation.
That's fair.
She was like, hey, we're on an island.
Yeah.
And the other guy's being weird. What's up? Lift me, you know?
Yeah. She hasn't needed it since then. Or it just wasn't that great.
That's a different podcast. Later that night, I think, you know what? No. Okay. I'm sure Nate is delightful in bed. He's very athletic. He's adventurous.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
He's done a lot of studying. He knows how to find the little hidden treasures and shit. Here's the thing. I don't like thinking about him as a sexual creature. He gives me such big puppy energy that I'm like, no, you're fine with reading a book. That's all you need to sustain, right? You're fine. Chloe fucks. And Chloe, like, she's just so fucking cool. And here's the thing. I think Elena actually does fall better into that bucket with Nate of, like, let's not pretend you have adult lives outside of, like, who you are. But I don't necessarily think they're good together because they're not.
Because you kind of argued for it right there.
No! Just because they have the same energy doesn't mean they should be the same couple.
Okay.
I get why it kind of makes sense, but this is on a very specific surface level thing of, like, I don't want to think about anyone fucking anymore. I just want to get to the fucking point.
Sorry, 2 made us think of them fucking.
A lot.
Yeah.
They kept doing it.
Yeah. Smash cutting.
While smashing.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to disparage any Nate and Elena shippers more than anything. If that's for you, go for it. I don't see it.
They were just boring.
Later that night, Elena and Nate drive up to the airport. Nate has a nice scarf on and is checking his guns while Elena drives the shit out of a 4x4, which she's done in a bunch of games. She's really good at it.
That's about all. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't go there.
She's great.
They park and get ready to sneak in. Nate emphasizes that they cannot get caught doing this. They'll probably just get killed on sight. Elena and Nate cut through buildings in the plane yard. They get to a point and Nate climbs a fence, leaving Elena on the other side. She realizes what's happening and says, "Damn it, I knew you would try some shit like this." She goes to climb the fence and Nate begs her not to. He says, "Let's be honest. This is a 1,000,000 to 1 shot, and I almost lost you before, and I just can't do that again. So take that Jeep over there and get the hell out of here, okay?" Elena is upset. She's heartbroken. She can't argue with him, though. She says, "You haven't got much time," and she backs up toward the Jeep and tells Nate to go. He watches her drive off, then runs to the cargo plane. He jumps into a wheel just as the plane goes off.
That is not how planes work, everybody. Don't. Oh, God, no.
Tom feels very passionately about this.
Truly, that'll get you killed. There's only space for the wheel up there. It's like, I saw this statistic actually kind of recently, and it's like 8 out of 10 people who try this die because it is not safe to do at all. And also, all you're going to be inside of is the wheel. That doesn't lead into the fucking plane itself.
No, it does in Uncharted 3.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Nate emerges inside the guts of the plane and crawls up to the storage area. He pops up and is immediately caught. So, to your point, again, still a bad plan.
Yeah.
A big, beefy gooner picks Nate up and punches him in the face. The guy grabs a lever and opens up the back of the plane, ready to throw Nate off into the desert. He tosses Nate at the lowering platform of the plane. Nate asks if, "Hey, can we talk about this?" But doesn't want to talk.
Nope.
They have a fist fight across the open air while the inside of the plane lowers to a ramp. Nate runs up to some of the massive storage crates in the plane and releases one. It shoots out the back of the plane with a parachute and hits the big-ass gooner, sending the crate and the man flying into the sky.
God, that's a terrible way to die.
It's cool as fuck, though. And then Nate yells, "Thank you for flying with us."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't heckle him on his way down. That's just fucking evil.
It's Nathan Drake, who you keep arguing is a serial killer.
He is a serial killer, but like, oh, God, he's just mean on top of it.
More and more of the cargo begin to slide down the ramp and be released into the sky.
Oh, like in the movie.
Exactly. Or in the subway ad. Everything that's not strapped down begins to tumble out of the open plane. Nate runs upstream against it to get to safety. He's eventually hit, and he tumbles out of the plane, grabbing onto the netting of one cargo crate to keep from free falling.
Oh.
The cargo is caught on something, but Nate is fully off outside of the plane. He climbs up the netting while gooners start shooting at him. The endless desert glimmers underneath him. Nate does climb his way back into the plane, but the plane begins to tear apart. A hole is torn in the side, and cargo begins flying out of that hole too.
Oh my God.
Nate's like, yeah, this plane's trashed, and goes flying out the side of it. Nate is in full free fall as he watches the plane crash.
Oh my God.
He swims through the sky to a cargo crate that has a parachute.
Swims through the sky is insane.
He yanks it open and hangs on tight, gracefully landing in the empty desert, surrounded by the wreckage he just survived.
Damn.
And kind of caused.
Like, honestly, I'd seen the movie and before even like hearing about this or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I gotta give this credit. Over the desert's way scarier than over the ocean.
Oh, because you're like, I could potentially survive falling into water.
Yeah.
I could not fall into sand and be okay.
Absolutely not. Like, this is genuinely scary.
This is scarier.
Yeah.
You're right. I hadn't thought about putting them up against each other, but that is funny. Nate lands and starts walking. Here, he's trapped in the endless desert. The heat waves bleed through his vision, while the unforgiving sands weigh heavy. It feels hopeless, but beautiful. And this marks the second time I've used that exact phrasing when talking about our treasure hunting protagonist wandering through the desert this season, which is a lot.
Yeah, you did Indiana Jones up against Uncharted. This isn't gonna be like that far off all the time.
Tom made me separate those episodes by a couple weeks so they wouldn't get too confusing. And I'm very grateful because I think if I did these back to back, I would simply just start calling him Indy and vice versa.
Yeah.
So valid, yeah.
Well, you're bringing it up anyway.
The unbearable day becomes the desolate night, becomes another unbearable day. By day 2, he's hearing Marlowe's voice in his head taunting him. She reads an excerpt from the T.S. Eliot poem, The Wasteland, to Nate, which is horrifying to hear.
Right.
It's one of Amy Hennig's favorites.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of her favorite poems. On night 2, he's freezing and just reminding himself he can't lay down. He has to keep going. When he wakes up on day 3, he's hallucinating Sully watching over him. He chases where he thinks Sully was and looks down to see a village. Nate's relieved and runs for it, praying that this isn't a mirage. He gets closer and is relieved to see it's not a mirage, but is heartbroken to see it's a ghost town.
Oh.
It's worth checking out, so he goes in. The structure of the village is falling apart, and Nate falls through the walls and ceilings. He finds a well and jumps down it, but it's run dry. Nate goes back into the village, convinced that there's gotta be something useful here. Nate sees some marauders here, drinking water freely, which feels smug. These guys are armed and alarmed to see Nate. Nate does a roll and gets out of sight and runs to find a gun. Nate does get several guns and kills fucking everyone.
He's just really good at killing people now.
He is. And then he just starts tapping out. He hasn't had like food or drinks in a couple days in the desert.
That
so
still will not stop him from murdering everybody.
Oh God, no. He's exhausted, and a man on a horse comes up to him, asking if Nate speaks English. Nate does, and then the man says something in Arabic. Another man on a horse pulls Nate up, and they ride off. The guy on Nate's horse gets sniped, and his body falls off.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Leaving Nate on the horse alone. Just like, holy shit, dude.
Was he at least riding like a normal passenger?
Like, behind him?
Yeah, behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't like tied up, like laying over the back.
Oh, it was like, what other situation? No, they didn't hog tie him before putting him on the horse.
Okay.
He's just like, oh, hello, friend. Goodbye, friend.
Okay.
He rides off with his new friends into the sands. They head to an encampment, and that night, Nate sits by a fire.
What was the sniper? What the fuck?
It was the mercenaries. They give Nate tea, and Nate talks to the guy who spared him. He asks why he was spared, and the man tells Nate, well, that would have been impolite. I love this man. This is Salim, and he introduces himself as the sheik of this tribe.
Oh, sheiks are great.
Nate tells Salim he needs a horse and has absolutely nothing to offer in return. Salim is impressed that Nate wants to attack the English caravan alone. He explains that his scouts have been watching the caravan for the last 2 days. Nate says the English are looking for the Atlantis of the Sands, and they have his friend captive. Salim says if they find the lost city, we're all dead. By the light of the fire, Salim explains. 3,000 years ago, King Solomon commanded the power of the jinn, demons born of smokeless fire, until they rebelled. He imprisoned them in a vessel of brass and cast it into the depths of the city. The city became a place of evil, cursed by the tormented spirits of the jinn. The white people cannot reach this city. If they unleash the power of the jinn... And then Nate cuts him off from the lore dump and is like, we don't have much time, do we?
What the fuck? He's literally describing genies to you right now, telling you that they're basically real, because, you know, all fucking, like, supernatural shit is real in this for some reason. Like, it's the most bizarre aspect to the Uncharted series, is it feels like normal, everything's grounded in reality, and then, like, at the 3/4 mark,
Every
shit
time
just goes fucking supernatural as shit for no fucking reason.
And then they're like, Yetis exist.
Yeah. I'm just really curious, like, tell me there's genies in this one.
We could, but Nate cuts him off from telling the story of the genies and is like,
Christ.
we are out of time. And it's just like, that's an ironic thing to say when you interrupt someone. Salim agrees and tells Nate to rest tonight. They'll cut off the English people in the canyon tomorrow. In the morning, Nate and Salim are riding off to find Sully and the caravan and stop Marlowe. They catch up to a row of trucks and cars, and Nate starts hopping in to fight off the gooners. Nate has a massive firefight through the canyons and finds Sully, getting him free. They reunite in the desert with most of Marlowe's men dead behind them. Because again, Nathan Drake is a serial killer.
Just a wake of bodies.
Sully is relieved. He thought Nate was dead. And Nate says, I'm not! I'm alive! Concussion brain. Sometimes you say things just because you want to say something.
You just have to make words.
Salim rolls up and introduces himself to Sully and reiterates, we cannot let the English reach the city. We have to go now. The boys ride with Salim and some of his guys into a massive cloud of dust. Sully and Nate lose Salim, and their horses try to run away from the storm. They let the horses go and run on foot to find the convoy. Nate and Sully head in, and there's trucks all over the camp. There's a shit ton of men here for Marlowe. The boys shoot their way into the encampment and find massive doors leading into a massive temple. That's where it gets quiet. Sully can't believe this is real. They solve a quick puzzle to open another door that opens into a lush jungle oasis. Nate says, holy shit, it's really true. It's really here. The beautiful Atlantis of the Sands is visible, hidden deep in the eye of the sandstorm, only available for those who seek out its fortune.
How, though? Because supernatural, but, like, how, though?
Secret city in, like, a sandstorm.
Yeah.
Nate and Sully enter the massive city. It's beautifully ornate and colorful flowers are planted throughout. The buildings are incredible and everywhere. It's fully functioning, and they don't see anyone, which is concerning. The boys get to a water fountain, and Nate, who's been, like, so severely dehydrated for the last few days, finally finds a fresh spring of water. He runs over, he's, like, drinking it out of his fingers, he's washing his face, he's just so happy, he's sapping it up between his hands. He's like, this is the best day of my life.
This shit's gonna be the fountain of youth, too, watch.
That's why he lives on forever in my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Sully looks out, and then a gunshot is heard. Sully slumps down, revealing Marlowe and Talbot standing behind him, Talbot lowering his smoking gun.
God damn.
Nate catches Sully as he drops, his shirt pooling with blood. Nate tells Sully, no. But Sully can't hear him. The light in his eyes have gone out.
What the fuck?
Victor Sullivan is dead.
Wait. Actually. Holy shit.
Like, not even like avenge me.
Just, they take... Wow, I was not expecting him to go out at all. I thought he was a number 4. So... Oh... Fuck, that's why they make you like Sully even more in this one. So they can fucking take him away. And just like that, though.
Tom's so upset right now. We love
R.I.P. Sully. Oh, you went through so much. We all went through so much.
Not a Naughty Dog game where our father figure dies.
No way.
Make it stop.
Oh, that's really sad.
Nate backs up, horrified at experiencing the process where you watch a friend become a body. He sees Talbot and Marlowe enter an ancient elevator. The sun hanging in the sky is blocked by the moon, the eclipse shining a strange color over the beautiful city. Nate goes after the elevator, which is heavily guarded by Marlowe's men. Furiously, Nate shoots at them. These men are different. Sometimes their heads are on fire, and they take a lot to take down. Some burst into flames after Nate shoots at them, then they keep fighting while they're on fire.
What the fuck?
Nate is too traumatized to question what's happening in the ancient city, but he's like, this sucks, keep it going. Oh my god, I watched Sully die. The firemen shriek and move in shadows, sometimes teleporting around the fight map. Nate gets to the elevator and takes it down, following Marlowe and Talbot. Talbot predicted this and is waiting at the bottom of the elevator shaft. The door opens and Talbot giggles. Talbot tosses a smoke bomb in the elevator with Nate. Nate chases Talbot through a beautiful marbled street. The tiling is gorgeous and unbroken. The plants are lush and thriving. This place looks like a fucking palace. Nate chases Talbot, screaming at him to come back here. He turns the corner and sees the streets of Cartagena. This is impossible. He's deep in the desert of Yemen. Nate says, I haven't been here since I was a kid. The streets bleed with big-ass spiders. Nate says, oh shit, oh no, and he runs away from the waves of spiders.
More fucking spiders.
Nate bursts through a gate and suddenly, it's 15-year-old Nate again. He's in Cartagena, running from the spiders. He races through the streets and through rooftops until he ends up at the same dead end where he almost died all those years ago. Instead of one of Marlowe's goons holding him at gunpoint, now it's Sully. Sully holds his gun on teenage Nate, and teenage Nate picks up a gun and holds it on Sully. He says, no, and falls to his feet. There's a gunshot, and Nate wakes up. It's adult Nate again, and his world is hazy and distorted. He stands and walks. He's still in the city, and he stumbles into more fire goons. Nate finds guns and fights his way through them. He's tripping absolute fucking balls and thinks he sees Sully through the halls. He chases his vision of Sully and hallucinates fighting with his own reflection. He starts to finally shake off whatever the fuck is going on here and discovers the underbelly of the city. The freshwater springs are flowing, and there's a secret center of the city that Nate follows. He sees Marlowe and Talbot going deeper in, so he goes in deeper too. There's more goons on the way as Nate goes deeper to chase Marlowe and Talbot. He turns the corner and is jump scared by Sully. Sully looks at Nate and says, oh, thank God.
What the fuck is happening?
Nate holds his gun on Sully, not trusting this hallucination.
I don't.
Sully asks what's wrong with Nate, and Nate asks, how do I know you're real? Sully walks toward Nate, using his fingers to lower the gun. And then he steps closer and flicks Nate in the forehead, asking, is this real enough for you?
What the hell is happening now?
Sonny holsters Nate's gun and says, don't ever point a gun at me again. Nate is so confused and sick of this shit and says, I saw them shoot you after the eclipse. Sully says, what fucking eclipse? No, you went nuts after you drank out of that fountain. It's the water. There's something in the water supply.
God damn it. Are you fucking kidding me? It was more drugs.
It was drugs.
It was just more drugs.
It was the drugs. Drugs again.
Okay, well, welcome back, Sully. Glad you're not dead.
You really went through it.
I did, and you let me. You jerk. No. No, it's a good fake out.
It is a really good one. Yeah, Sully is like, there was no eclipse. You took a handful of water, and then you started freaking the fuck out.
So this shit worked instantly.
Immediately.
Like, that shit was just pure poison.
Like when you have a bad peanut butter allergy and your face swells up when you're just like get like a tiny bit of it.
Yeah.
That type of shit, but for drugs.
But also the fact that they've just worn off now and you're fucking fine.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. This is the most insane little drug trip thing. This was all horse shit just to have a fake out death. So that way somebody could leak the death of Sully and then it turns out to be fake or some shit. Like, goddamn.
A memo they did not share with Neil Druckmann.
Yeah.
Whoopsies. So Sully is like, hey, buddy, you had a drink and then you immediately started like screaming and spinning out. Here's the thing. It's that water. The water destroyed the city. It wasn't the wrath of God. The whole water supply is tainted with some sort of super-powered hallucinogenic agent, and it must have driven everyone crazy. That's why the city collapsed.
These dummies.
Nate does not apologize for any of this outburst, but he diverts and he's like, that's what Marlo and Talbot are after. They love, like, hallucinogenic, like, take over people, mind control, scary water shit.
Ayahuasca.
And Sully's like, obviously, but how are they going to get the water out of here? This is fucking crazy. Nate starts explaining the story that Salim told him, how King Solomon trapped the jinn in a brass vessel and hid it in the depths of the city. And Sully asks him, are you telling me we're after a genie in a bottle?
That's damn right. That's what we're going after.
The boys figured this is what Queen Elizabeth sent Sir Francis Drake out here for. They wanted the power to control others through the mind control water, but once Sir Francis Drake realized what they wanted, he abandoned the mission and told the Queen he found nothing. Then he hid all traces of the voyage so no one could follow in his footsteps and get to the mind control water. Which is exactly what happened, and now we're here for the mind control water.
That's exactly what's going on, yeah.
Sully says, well, who are we to argue with Sir Francis Drake? What do you say we head down there and end this thing once and for all?
Hell yeah, Sully. You've already died, kind of.
Nate nods at him, and the boys look out ahead of them. They fight their way down to a deep central temple and find scuba tanks. Marlowe's going in the water. Sully sees an underwater gun and grabs it because, hell yeah, I want an underwater gun.
Hell yeah, you do.
They head all the way into the central cistern, a structure right over an opening to the water. Marlowe's yelling at someone to lift it gently, and they see a crane pulling something out from under the water. Sully says, oh, you gotta be kidding me. He's so over it. Okay, we're outnumbered. Let's split up and flank them. Nate agrees. Yeah, we have better odds that way. Their odds are insane. Talbot spots Nate and aims his gun at him. Sully jumps out and stops Talbot from shooting Nate. Talbot punches Sully to the ground, then kicks him into the water. The scary water.
Oh no, he's gonna start tripping balls.
Nate dives in, grabbing Sully, and looks behind him to see the brass vessel being pulled up by Marlowe's men.
Oh, damn.
From below, Nate grabs the underwater gun off of Sully and shoots up at Marlowe's crane. The crane collapses and the vessel goes back down into the sea. The crash sends Marlowe screaming. The crane and the shot hit the building and it begins to rumble and collapse. Talbot grabs a worried Marlowe and pulls her away, saying they've got to go. Nate gets Sully up on the surface, and he begs Sully to say that he didn't drink any of the scary water. Sully says, I don't think so, which isn't confident, but Nate will take it. And it turns out after being submerged, they're both fine.
They are?
Yeah, this does not turn into anything for either of them. They plugged their noses correctly, not a drop came in.
I mean, Nathan, he's already had a little dose, so, he's kind of already used to it. And to me, I think Sully's just done so many drugs in his time. This shit just does not affect him at all. He's just got a huge tolerance.
I'm just going to take a nice nap later, kiddo. This is fine. A tower plummets to the ground, and Sully says, this is why we can't have nice things.
This is the reason. Reminding
you, this is a very 2011 game. Nate helps Sully up, and they start running. Nate says, the whole place is coming down. And unfortunately, Sully says, now if I had a nickel for every time I heard you say that. Somehow, there's Marlowe's men out here still shooting at Nate and Sully, even though the entire city is collapsing. I will never be this dedicated to a job.
Ever.
Nate and Sully catch up to Marlowe and Talbot. Talbot pulls a gun on the boys while the walls and floors begin to crack apart. The floor completely collapses and Nate, Talbot, and Marlowe land in quicksand. Talbot and Nate are able to get up on a higher ground while Marlowe is trapped in the middle, nowhere to run. Talbot can't reach her. Sully rushes to Nate's aid, ready to pull him up to higher ground for safety. Marlowe, waist deep in quicksand, yells for Nate. She says, "Drake, are you worthy of the name?" She pulls Nate's ring off of the necklace around her neck. She says, "Earn this, as Francis earned it from Elizabeth. Prove your greatness." Nate looks down at her and says, "I've got nothing to prove." Nate then pulls off his leather bullet belt and throws it at Marlo, telling her to catch. He tries to pull her out, but she can't move. She's too far gone.
Oh, damn, really?
Sully was very much advocating to leave her to die, but Nate's a softie and did try to get her. Marlo's face is engulfed by quicksand as she screams her last breath of life out.
We watched somebody die by quicksand?
Girl, when have you seen a quicksand death?
Like, not since childhood in a cartoon.
A very
and honestly,
cartoon.
they don't even die in those. They always get rescued.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually watched anybody die in a thing of quicksand before.
And it's like a beautiful older woman.
Yeah.
It's Helen Mirren in Fast and Furious.
Yeah. Just doing the fucking Terminator thumbs up on our way out. Like.
No, she's so posh. She was like, I wouldn't do a symbol.
She had like a cup of tea. She gave it a pinky out.
Exactly. Nate leaves the quicksand and it is hoisted up by Sully. They run through the breaking city, racing for higher ground. Sully leads and they go up and up and up. Sully jumps to a farther platform when Talbot emerges from the shadows and grabs Nate by the neck. Talbot has a knife and fights Nate here at the edge of the world as the city collapses at their feet. Talbot gets Nate on the ropes, driving his knife down towards Nate's neck when he's shot. Sully comes down saying, "That'll teach you to bring a knife to a gunfight."
Oh, God.
Sully drops his gun as a wave of sand overtakes the bit of ground they're standing on. Nate catches the gun and falls down the side of the broken earth. He parkours with a gun in his hand up to the surface. He sees Talbot fighting Sully. Talbot raises a large rock to drop on Sully's head. With one hand holding his entire body weight, Nate takes his other hand and shoots Talbot.
Oh.
Talbot falls into the sands below, and Sully is safe.
Hell yeah.
Nate gets back up to the surface, and they run until they see Salim. Salim has the horses and tells them to hurry. On horseback, Salim, Nate, and Sully race out of the rampaging destruction. From the safety of outside the city, they watch on as the Atlantis of the Sands implodes.
Oh.
Nate looks at Sully and says, "So much for immeasurable wealth, huh?" Sully says, "Well," and he reveals he had a handful of ancient gold coins. I love him so much.
Of course he does. He always manages to get something out of it.
He gets his bag up, and I respect the shit out of that.
Every damn time, because he's got to fund the next operation.
A few dozen showers later, Nate and Sully are at the airport, bags in hand. Sully tells Nate to hold up for a second. Nate asks if Sully's okay, and Sully says, "Yeah, I got something that needs saying is all. I had a lousy father, lousy childhood. I hit 40. I figured I was never going to have a son of my own. And I never wanted one, to be clear. Then you came barreling into my life. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm not a perfect man." Sully reveals a ring. He extends his hand to Nate. Nate says, "Oh my God, Sully, are you proposing?"
It sure feels that way.
"We held hands once, dude. What the fuck?"
And you let go.
Sully then tells him to stop being a wise ass for 1 second. Nate asks, "How long have you been carrying that around?" And Sully says, "Too long." He extends his arm out, giving Nate his wedding ring back. Nate says shyly, "I really thought I lost it." Sully says, "Here's the thing, kid. We don't get to choose how we start in this life. Real greatness is what you do with the hand you're dealt." Sully nods at Elena, who's entering the tarmac, ready to board with the boys. Nate looks at the ring, looks at Sully, smiles, and goes to Elena. She goes to him with her bag and she says, "Hey." He meets her hey and asks if she's going somewhere. She shrugs and says, "I don't know, maybe, whatever." She puts her hand on Nate's chest where his necklace used to sit and says, "I'm really sorry about your ring." Nate says, "It's all right, I swapped it for something better." And he puts his left hand over her hand on his chest, revealing his wedding ring is back on his finger.
Oh.
Elena looks at him with excited hope in her eyes and they hug. She buries her face in his shoulder and smiles hard out of joy. He holds her neck and says, "Let's get out of here." And she agrees. They hold hands and rejoin Sully, who's smoking a cigar.
Of course he is. It's like 14th of the day.
He leads them to a plane, and it looks exactly like the one in the first game. Sully says, "It's not as nice as the one you two wrecked 4 years ago, but it'll do." He says, "Come on, let's see if I remember how to fly the damn thing." Elena confirms if there are parachutes on board, and Sully says, "Oh my god, of course." Nate asks if there are 3 parachutes on board, and Sully says, "More or less."
More or less.
And that is Uncharted 3, Drake's Deception.
Oh, I felt deceived.
You got the shit deceived out of you, I'm not gonna lie.
You know, I thought it was gonna be genies, but no, it was just an acid trip.
The twist is there was no twist. It was just drugs.
Yeah. No, that was great. Honestly, they got me with the Sully kill, honestly.
Yeah, and this is the last one that Amy Hennig was full-time creative director on. She worked on 4 a little bit, but it overall did get handed to Neil Druckmann to oversee most of that project, and obviously, I'm going to cover it eventually.
To be real, I feel like it has a lot to do with the mandate that Sony sent out right around, I want to say it was like 2015, 2016, saying all studios are now single games.
Yeah.
Under their umbrellas, anyway.
I can see that.
And so it was like, okay, well, before we had 2 teams. Like you said, one team was doing Last of Us, one team was doing Uncharted 3.
Right.
After that mandate went out, it was like, well, we don't need 2 creative directors anymore.
Yeah.
Which one made the bigger hit after the last round? And
who's gonna be around longer? The young kid?
Yeah.
The versus the storied creative director.
Right, which is unfortunate, but...
Oh yeah, Amy Hennig built the house of Naughty Dog.
Entirely.
Be so fucking for real. Yes, Spyro or Crash.
Crash Bandicoot.
It was Crash Bandicoot because that's the one in 4. Ratchet and Clank and some other... No, that's Insomniac.
Yeah, it's Insomniac.
Did they have a clone of Ratchet and Clank?
I think, what was theirs? Oh, no.
Oh, they had one, didn't they?
Yeah. Was that Jack and Daxter?
Jack and Daxter.
Yeah, was that
Thank
them?
you.
Yeah.
Yes, that is them. Thank you. Oh, that would have been really embarrassing if we didn't get that. But yeah, after it was a lot of mascot, like kind of buddy stuff for PS1 and 2. And then Amy Hennig comes in and is like, what if I rewrote the fucking game on a cinematic adventure?
I just love that Naughty Dog has always kind of been the face of PlayStation.
Right?
You know, just across every one of their different genres and eras.
Who do you think could come for the crown? Santa Monica Studios?
Santa Monica with God of War,
and then Bend.
You would hope.
Way down Sucker Punch over Bend.
Yeah, Sucker Punch over Bend.
Sucker Punch is at least putting stuff out. I haven't seen anything from Bend in so long.
They might have been shut down, I think.
That's a bummer. Let's not end on a bummer, though.
No.
If you had a good time with this episode and you didn't think it was a bummer, please remember to rate us, leave us comments, and all the good stuff. We appreciate it, and we read it all the time.
Yes, and you can check out our website, theothercastlepodcast.com.
That's theothercastlepodcast.com.
Over there, we got links to our Instagram, Discord, our Patreon, which over there we have 2 shows. We have The Other Castle Side Quests, where we do DLCs, commentaries, all sorts of fun things. Right now, we are watching through the entire Fallout TV series. And we're releasing weekly episodes on that one. So come check that out. We are going to let people check out the first episode for free. And then from there, we are going to have just our Patreon members on that one. And then also The Other Castle Plays Around, where, I'm not going to lie, we have recorded the funniest thing we've ever done on the show.
I broke Tom emotionally.
Genuinely
For
broke me.
Patreon.
Yes, she did. And if you want to know how it sounds, it went a little bit like this.
What's your confidence level going into this game?
Ooh, pretty high. That's not what Ghost of Tsushima's about at all. No. Okay, yeah, these are infuriating. What idiots are coming up with these? I'm spiraling.
I thought this would be fun.
2004?
And I feel like you're getting upset.
Guys, I'm broken. I need a minute.
Okay.
I need a minute.
Hey, it's okay.
Anyway, because of our Patreon members, we are able to do this show otherwise ad-free. So, starting with Aaron, Clinton, Daniel,
Ellen, Krisha, Molly,
Trenton, Chase, Jutsu,
X of Triforce, Luigi, So Thana Toasted,
Oliver, JC, Pants Thief 3000,
Nimitz, Caroline, Rondell,
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for being here. And as always, this is Tom and Andrea reminding you
Do you think Chloe thinks about me?
all the time.
Oh.
And don't skip the cutscenes. Bye.